on the panel.
Live.
We exist.
Live. Hi, everyone.
We exist.
Live. Hi, everyone.
We exist.
Live. Hi, everyone. Wait, hold on. Mine was not. Okay. And it's still not.
Watch.
And now we're live. I think.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, chat. Don't you just love these homespun streams where the person running it has no fucking idea what she's doing, i.e. me? So yeah. Thankfully, after the several near deaths of my old compy, we have new compy, but that is adding to a little trial and error here. So, chat, can you hear us? I'm just gonna double check the audio real quick.
Can everyone hear me? Can everyone see me?
Can anyone hear me?
I think the answer is yes.
It's the Gilderoy Lockhart thing. He does it at the beginning of the Dueling Club, I believe.
Yeah.
Oh, and now all of this is
Test
different.
1, 2, 3.
Alright. Sorry, everything's different. Windows 10 is so different from Windows 7.
Yeah.
I can fix that. I know a thing that will fix that for you.
No, I think I'll just get used to this as the fix. I don't think this is I think I'm what needs fixing.
It does
Apparently,
lead to
unlike
some trial and
unlike
error
me,
on the first couple days, though.
Nobody else automatically returns the rent call-out line there.
I haven't watched Rent in a very long time.
I totally missed it as a rent line, which is a failing on my part.
We did, in fact, have a LARP at one point. I think it was a LARP where Lisa threw out that line. I automatically returned the next bit.
Which line?
Test 1, 2, 3. Anything but that.
I don't know the return.
It's weird.
Fucking weird. It's so weird that I don't know what to do. We're not going to do Red.
No, we're not doing Red. That's funny. A lot of other people in New York really hate Rent now. I don't know. It is what it is. It served its purpose when I was a teenager and had queer friends, but didn't know it because they did not feel safe coming out, or there was not enough representation for them to know to come out. So, and then the movie actually made everything worse. And
the movie was terrible, but the movie was, oh my god, terrible.
Oh my goodness. Anywho, hi chat. Thanks for coming to game. I hope you can see and hear us. But we have new computer problems, which I say are better than old computer problems because it means I'm not going to have a meltdown and we won't drop the stream for no reason halfway into game.
At least not as far as we know.
If we drop the stream halfway through, it'll be for a very good reason. No, I'm just kidding.
So yes, this is Exit to Eden, and this is New World of Darkness or Chronicles of Darkness in space. It is 6,000 years at least in humanity's future, and humanity has spread out across the stars. The Supernats went with them, helped a lot of the time, and then about 1700, by new system reckoning, all of the veils fell, and the Supernats were out, and humanity found something new to hate. It is now,
as we always do.
It is now the year 42 something or 43 something. I swear I wrote it down. So guys, it's been a day. I know it's been a day for everyone. So thank you for coming and living out weird sci-fi World of Darkness hybrid fantasy with us. We are using a hack on the Mind's Eye Theater system rather than standard White Wolf D10, which reduces all rolls to a single D10 for the sanity of my players, who I cherish greatly for being here tonight. Because it has been a week. Did I mention? Ooh.
Man, you know,
You're,
the year that brought you 6 months of April, here's Tuesday part 6.
I was
Your
expecting it.
welcome sheet says the year is 4119.
Here's 4119. The place, Eden City.
It's a dark night in a city that knows how to keep its secrets, but one man is trying to find the answer to all of life's persistent questions. Guy Noir, Private Eye, saxophone riff.
We will go there. Like, don't think we won't. I like my sci-fi mashups. If I didn't, I wouldn't be running this system in the first place.
Guy Noir. I like Noir.
Pardon my nose. So yes, our protagonists, because World of Darkness, heroes are few and far between, are the employees of the Carve Tourism Agency, which exists in Eden City and is a lovely front for an underground railroad, getting Supernats and others out of the central core. But for the last few games, they have actually been in their own city at a wonderful, the Expanse Technology Convention. Because con season was cancelled this year, and I needs it. So I am going to vicariously live through my players playing out a fantasy convention. And they have already started the process of hoodwinking some megacorps. Because while it is ETC officially, it is unofficially Hackercon. Which brings us to the panel our friends are on tonight. But to get started, why don't you tell us who you all usually play before we get into, the beginning of tonight's game and game within a game, etc. We're going with my window. So, oh wait. Can I do the zoom trick? Yes, now I'm the GM and I'm in the place I want to be on the screen. Mwah.
You can move the thing?
I can move the thing!
Exciting.
But I can't I have to make sure not to close the zoom window or everything falls apart. But so much less problematic on Windows 10. And with 16 gigs of RAM instead of 4! So I can actually have OBS Zoom and Chrome open at the same time. I get a new computer like once every 10 years, people. Like, I was not prepared for Spaceship Chris. But yes, hi, I'm Ms. Chrysula, I'm the GM. I will be playing everyone else. But for now, Dracus, who are you playing today? Well, at least, who are you usually playing?
Hi, I'm Dracus. I'm usually playing Klaus, who is the resident asshole mage. I don't know where they're at, hiding from the Apple Store of the enemy, I suppose.
They're not going to Petruchio's panel?
They might be hiding there, but, just go to the panel and keep your head down. Definitely didn't just commit war crimes a few minutes ago. Definitely not.
I mean, to be fair, you did walk right into the booth, the 3-story booth, because this convention center is like the width of the Javits Center, but 20 stories high, because future. Dracus, I'm sorry, Klaus did just walk into the,
Lion's Den.
Into the Lion's Den, as they are secretly a synthetic human who has been recalled, and their entire line has been recalled by Chiron.
I'm also pretty sure that Petruchio is the only one that, Klaus has said this, explicitly to, but everyone else in the group definitely knows by this point.
You all did recently help out another LAU line since trying to escape the system. So yeah, it wasn't a huge resemblance because Klaus has, learned how to
spent some time learning to mask it. But
Also, being a mage, what knows other mages, life magic is a fun way to hack your face.
yeah,
Even if your go-to life mage is an annoying acanthus. Because there's
they
so
can
many
get the job
acanthus.
done. I'll put up with them.
The nose.
Yes, darling, of course I can get this job done.
Hmm.
For you, anything. Like, yeah, that... Thanks, I hate it. Said
Klaus, darling!
Klaus, darling! It is you! Hello.
That's it. That's who it is.
I know I named her. I have the name written somewhere. Too many NPCs, friends. Alright, anyway, next. Below is Merquirqui.
Yep.
Who do you usually play?
I'm Mark. I normally play Dune, the Wolfblood, who is not in the panel because he's not really what you'd call a hacker. Unless you mean hacking somebody apart with an axe. Doesn't tend to do that anymore. You know, when you get to the city, all your meat comes pre-butchered, but,
Unless it's a goose.
the goose invited itself, and it wasn't any sort of delivery service that brought it to the city. It was Klaus. And Dune
Hey, fuck
knows
off.
it. And
Yes.
Dune knows it. So
one of those episodes is currently our lost episode, but now that I have a grown-up computer, maybe I or Mert can help with that, because the audio was so bad that we just downloaded it, like, we'll fix it and put it up. But also Premiere is being a jerk too, so eventually we will rerun that. But yes, there was a problem with a thieving goose that turned out to be a ghoul moth, which is an abyssal spirit. So it was an abyssal goose. Because this is my game, damn it, and I need levity. Which is why, if you're a World of Darkness purist, I apologize now for everything that you're about to see. If this isn't for you, no problem. But if you have friends who would play World of Darkness with you, if it wasn't way too grimdark, and by all means, send them our way. And speaking of grimdark, Petruchio,
Dune.
Josh, you... Oh, Dune, yes?
Dune is not at the panel. Dune is out shopping. Just put that out there.
Dune is getting some upgrades, because this is a tech convention in space. They have people doing cybernetic plugins like tattoo parlors. It's awesome!
And also, I finally read the weapons list, so he's going to be picking up some of those.
Yes,
Wait, have I ever played Petruchio as Grimdark yet?
No, but I'm not really a purist, you know. But you may or may not actually be Petruchio. We've had several people playing this scripted character, as this started out as a module. So I'm like, here, play these characters. And then when a bit weird, but as cast changes have come up, I feel kind of justified for doing that. So this is technically Petruchio 4.0. Maybe the real one. It might be another body double, because
the rest of us are pretty sure that Petruchio, as a Vantru, just has a continuing line of body doubles representing him to the office.
Hashtag Vantru life. And this isn't even... I do not believe there is a vicissitude in NWAD, so even funnier. Anywho, so Josh, tell us about the character you play, and will be playing at the start of game today.
Sure. So I'm playing Petruchio, who is a Vantru, also the boss. Sometimes people even actually pay attention. He's also the IT and for the company, and provides both defensive and offensive hacking services. Talking about things like that is one of the reasons he's actually on the panel, as opposed to other people in the company who are not on the panel, even if their players are.
Yes. So, chat. At the end of last game, so just so you know, there is a plot here, but because again, con season was canceled, and I am the rare and wondrous nerd extrovert, so I need this. And I'm going to let them take this as slowly as they want to before actually running into plot. Because I'm like...
I'm pretty sure we haven't even touched it yet.
Nope. But that's fine. I am good with this. Because this plot could just last as long as you want it to. Assuming you don't actually stumble upon the actual plot. Someone is on, keeps posting on the Discord. What is, I need to close the Discord, I
sorry.
think.
Sorry.
Oh,
Mark
computer
was,
isn't, oh yeah.
Mark was congratulating you about that. Sorry.
Yes. I guess he missed all the parts where, we had no Zoom incoming.
I don't think he's actually watching the stream. I think this is like his kids night or whatever, but
Oh, that's fine. He'll watch the VOD.
maybe.
There's a lot going on.
There is.
Oh,
there is
Fadier's
some-
here. Hello. Just in time. So, at the end of last week's, Let's Set Up a Hack on Chiron group, one of the biggest, scariest megacorps in the galaxy. Where I almost gave one, they're like, I want to talk to the highest ranking spokesperson here, and I almost gave them True Faith. Because the company is life. The megacorp is mother, the megacorp is father. Why not?
Oh, is that what they would have had
It's
truth
not,
faith in?
it's not the best choice. It's Spacer's choice.
Yeah. So, by the end of last game's shenanigans, Petruchio finally made it to their panel and ran into a young non-binary person who, I will say it's on their badge is that their name is just Pod. And they are apparently, also know a contact of theirs named Narissa Flax, otherwise known as Granny Flax, who is a... Notorious might be too strong a word, but she's known within hacktivism. She's a nice little old lady. She bakes cookies. My NPCs are always so straightforward, right? Always. Speaking of straightforward...
Also, she's a mage, but you know.
Yeah, she's an Obermos with, like, unstoppable grandma energy.
Mage that
BG,
Klaus
big grandma
actually
energy.
wants to meet.
Also, Fadior. Oh my god, the top of Merc's head does exist. Thanks.
Oh, and chat, so, let me just set my alarm on my phone so I remember we are going to take a break in, let's say, an hour and 15 minutes, because we started a bit late. How is it 7:30 already? Okay. I thought we were
I'm just
starting...
bullshit.
Yeah. Especially in a city full of acanthus. Time is bullshit. Let's say an hour 15. Okay. So, again, getting through the story. Petruchio got to his panel. The panel is called, From Freaks to Frakers, an exploration of ancient hacking techniques and how their concepts might still be applicable today. Which is something that we all improv together in the game that was set at pre-gaming for Con, because I like games within games, and I like improv, and I like player input. And I have built up quite a lot of this on my own. I like building more with my players. So, as we start game, Dracus and Merc will be playing NPCs of their own creation, which I guess I will find out I will meet now. I'll be playing, well, obviously Pod, the moderator, a nice little non-binary person. Dracus, who are you playing on this panel today?
A very vanilla human type person. His name's Oscar, and he looks very bored, and you can't tell if it's just the, like, con getting to him, or if he's genuinely that jaded.
Yeah, maybe I shouldn't have made you introduce now, because then you'll have to introduce yourself at the panel, but anyway.
It's okay.
Merc, what are you doing?
I am a male human. I am a pessimo. I have very nerdy glasses, and I will be discussing the techniques this evening. That's exactly what I'm going to do. Yes.
Yes. All right, so chat, we're not leaving you out of this because this is a panel. And what is a panel without questions from the audience? So type them in the chat, and I'm running OBS, which, assuming it doesn't crash my new compy, like it did my old slightly shotgunned compy, Feel free to put any questions you have for our panelists in the chat, as I will be playing moderator and running the chat and running the game all at the same time. Hopefully Arcane the Sage has caught up with us, because he might have some idea. I gave him permission to lightly troll us.
Yeah, well, we have a new watcher, Tempto. Hello. So,
Tempto. No, oh, I know that. Wait, no, I know Tempto. Hello, Tempto. Yes, I do. I'm like, wait, I know this screen name. Not from Twitch, but from real life. I believe Tempto lives in or near Philly, unless I am mixing you up with someone else. So y'all are having a good day. Here. So yes, our panel, which is on the archaeology track, because 45 minutes from Philly, yes. I think I originally know him from my NY Jedi days. NY Jedi being a purveyor of what I call live-action stage combat fanfiction. Interesting times. Woohoo! But yes, so game is starting. Actual game is starting. So yes, Chad, if you have any questions for our panelists. Indeed. So, Petruchio is, hi, my name is Pod, and I am the moderator of today's panel. I use they, them pronouns. I come from Caldera System, and I am currently a college student at Caldera Academy. I know you were all expecting Narissa Flax to be here tonight. Unfortunately, she is recuperating right now, so could not make it to this year's convention. But I believe somewhere in this room there is a webcam. So all of our panels are being streamed online. So she is definitely watching. So hi Granny. We all miss you, and we hope you get better. Just okay. So yes. And this is the panel from Freaks to Frakers, ancient hacking techniques, and I am a student of archaeology right now. I have not been on any digs yet, but archaeology in hacking and computer technology takes many forms. So let me have the rest of our panelists introduce themselves, and they point towards whoever Dracus is playing. It's like they point
like,
that way. I assume
sitting like this. I'm Oscar, and I've been studying archaeology since archaeology was a thing, I think. I don't know, my brain is so fried.
Okay. So that's great. And then they signal to whoever Merc is playing.
greetings. I am A.E. Pessimo. You may know me best from my well-published book, The Number of Addresses in IPv4 Space and Why It Was Dumb They Used Them in the First Place. It has sold over 12 copies on the Intersystem selling page. I know that my colleagues will definitely recognize my work. I'm published in several magazines, and I run the very popular blog of What's in Grandma's Attic? How to find out how to get into the old machines your grandparents left you. I've gotten over 70 hits on that blog, and I'm very proud of it.
And then they motion to their other side where Petruchio is sitting.
And I'm Petruchio. You might know me as the head of Carve Limited, but I believe I know quite a number of you from correspondence on various boards in the past. I'm an amateur at this archaeology thing, but something of a professional at computer security.
Amateurs.
You were saying?
Okay.
I said nothing.
Sure.
And you can't prove it.
Unless they watch the replay. Okay, so to start, I don't think we need to go far back as what is computer archaeology. So I'd like to ask each of our panelists. Let's start with Petruchio. Where did your interest in archeo-hacking originate?
Oh, absolutely. As a small child, I spent quite a lot of time looking at different ways to defeat or circumvent computer security. And this included looking back at what we know of, or at least knew at the time of previous techniques. It's fascinating. And after all, the core techniques involved in computer hacking, um, deception, going around the box, breaking the box, or breaking someone's knees, have remained entirely valid for at least the last 2,000 years. It's just how they're applied that changes.
Well put. Next panelist, same question. What? I'm writing down your characters' names now.
I'm gonna go ahead and change that on Zoom.
So, Oscar, and Merc, what was your NPC's name again?
There we go. I've changed it on Zoom.
Oh, thank you.
It does make things much easier.
I thought you were saying Paximo, and I'm like, that's adorable.
No. No, sorry. I'm not going to insult Pax like that. Not with what I have in mind for this character.
All right. So we'll continue going now backwards. Paximo, what is how did your interest in archeo-hacking originate?
Well, funny you should ask that. My interest in this particular field of study started about when I was a young boy. I read a book called Bits to Binballs, which was at the time the premier textbook on archeo-hacking by Finbuck, and it was the most important one they could find on Ankh, which is the system I grew up in. So on Ankh, we had a bunch of old computers, and it was very good job to have, archaeotechnology. A lot of excavations on Ankh. So he knows where this is from.
70 hits, you say?
I know, it's a disgrace to the community. It
I can see why.
is. I have done so much research, especially on Ankh about hacking techniques, and I am one of the foremost experts why I hacked a Tamagotchi in less than 30 minutes. Can you meet anyone else who's done that? I swear. Some people have no respect for the professionals.
Okay, thank you.
30 minutes. Did you write all the code from scratch in that time?
Excuse you, it took me that long to find out where the fucking port was on the thing. Have you ever tried to hack a Tamagotchi? There's no external ports, you've got to hack one in yourself.
Tamagotchi's a rare find indeed. Oscar, where did your interest in archeo-hacking originate?
Well, I was always interested in the transfer of data and communication and learning about the origins of things, and it all sort of came together, right time, right place. Ended up in a room where I needed to get something done, so here we are.
Okay, great. So next question I have, just some general questions, and then we'll open up questions to the audience. And we have both people in, those of you watching from elsewhere, we do have a chat room for you to put your questions into. And plus people here can ask questions as they see fit. And if you could start a line up the center of the room. No questions yet? Okay. Oh, I see a few in chat already. Okay.
Do. Some of
Uh,
them may even want to take.
Well,
Um,
it's nice to finally get some respect around here.
okay. For the table, whoever wants to pick it up first, what is your favorite ancient hacking technique?
Well, now my favourite ancient hacking technique is known as plot sniffing. It's where you go along and you search on everything where the old services were supposed to connect to other ones, and then you see which ones are still open. If you're lucky, you'll find one. If not, you'll find one that's kind of open, and you can fall through the wider open, and that will actually get you in very easily. And it doesn't take very long. If you're lucky, it takes you, a couple of minutes. If you're unlucky and you have to act the ports open yourself, then it takes a little longer. But I've never had it take longer than a couple of hours.
Okay. And anyone else?
Sure. Anyone know what this is? It pulls out a whistle.
I
Annoying is what it is.
have seen those before.
So this is what's called a freak whistle. What the ancient hackers would do is apparently they were sending data across physical wires, and they were translating at various points into sound. And so they would use this in order to send a signal they thought was an administrative signal, and the system would pick up on it, and suddenly you could dial any phone number you wanted, any IP address you wanted. We're not exactly sure of exactly when these were used, but it basically they were using a band. They were thinking about security in terms of numbers, but this bypassed the whole numbers to just send an audio signal instead. And it illustrates one of the core techniques. Only they were doing it thousands of years ago, and they were doing it with physical objects, with technology we'd never even bother using.
I don't believe you. That doesn't sound like a real thing.
Oh, I've heard of it.
I assure you, it's entirely a real thing.
Most certainly is.
Well, if it would have been a real thing, I would have heard of it because I'm a foremost expert in the field, and I never heard of it, so it's not real. That's just how that goes.
Pessimal, there are always new discoveries in the field of archaeology. So just because something hasn't been published yet doesn't mean it's not going to make its way through the dark webs first.
Still, who in their right mind uses sound as any kind of logging or encryption technique? It just doesn't make any sense.
We're talking about the ancients here. You think they had any sense?
And possibly they did, but they were working this out piece by piece. They didn't come full formed into, hyperspace relays.
Well, I mean, we did.
Well,
I've never met anybody who's made any of the gates. I mean, we just used them. We never built them.
But
They
someone
were
had
even
to.
before we were.
I mean, yes.
Well, I mean, this wouldn't be the first time I've heard of hacking via sound. I mean, there are still security systems that enact voice commands and voice imprints, although they aren't the most secure.
And in fact, actually, if I can maintain the floor a little bit longer, I remember there was one young ensign in a military post. I don't remember exactly where. I'm actually not allowed to say exactly where, but never mind that. Who managed to sneak data out of a secure room because apparently nobody had guarded things from sending things via visual signal. And so he just took pictures with his camera and sent it out through that connection. And you had a completely secure system, except for that one little hole. You'd think that people would lock this stuff down. It's been known for millennia at this point, and yet they keep making the same mistakes.
Well,
If they didn't make mistakes, there wouldn't be people like us to exploit them.
and I suppose the most ancient of hacking techniques is start with the people, then move on to the hardware.
Yep.
It is fair.
I mean, if you go back to the absolute roots of hacking, you get code breaking, which didn't involve technology at all. It was a psychological game.
And certainly my least favorite ancient hacking technique. Hopefully yours as well. Rubber hose, also known as find the person who knows the thing you want, hit them with a rubber hose until they tell you.
You know,
But
I get the.
when you're trying to do it with
had
archaeology, by the
varied
time you get
results.
there, everyone who knew anything about the system is dead. So you have to actually just do it yourself, or otherwise you're not going to get in. You know?
Oh.
So we had a question from the panel. Dial up. I believe this, in fact, involved the sound thing we were talking about, where they had voice connections that weren't data connections at all. I don't know how this works. I'm not sure anybody does, but apparently they had voice connections. We have definitely have records of that. And so they eventually adapted the voice connections to carry data using a translator. And then you would, on the other side, you would translate the voice back into data again.
Well, that makes sense on a lot of levels. I know there are a lot of references to dial-up in some of the old coding and blog posts we've managed to find scraps of. But I mean,
sometimes on Ankh.
I mean, light is a wave. Well, light is a wave and a particle, but it makes sense that before mankind learned to send data via light, they would try maybe a more a lower level wave like sound.
But how did they send the sound?
I mean,
You've got the whistle.
I mean,
that's true.
Well,
they might have had,
if
conduits.
you think about it, energy is a wave. So whatever you can send the wave along, then my God, then you can use that to send energy along. So as long as you keep the waves kind of the same, then you can just use what you've got to send the waves. I mean, as long as the waves come out the same way the waves went in, whatever the translation protocols were for the waves, from medium to medium, then whatever you used, you could do basically anything, as long as it was wave-based, which is, as we know, a rather limiting choice for computing. We abandoned wave-based data transmission long ago because, it takes a long time for a wave to get across the empty space between what do you call it? Oh yeah, systems. That's what I wanted to say.
Anything to add, Oscar?
Not on this subject.
Okay. Thank you, chat, for your questions. But just so you know, this is not a sports panel. This is a panel on ancient hacking techniques. So I appreciate your questions, but please keep them within the subject of the panel. Unless if you want to link back to the directory, you might be in the wrong chat room for the wrong panel. Just saying. Oh, here's an interesting one. What is Linux? Is that something any of our panelists have worked with or come across in their studies or work? Yes?
I've seen scraps of Linux. I believe it was a kind of ritual that they used to access data. I'm not totally certain why they were using ritual at that point in time, when none of them knew about magic, but it was apparently a very good ritual. It was very popular with a very small subset of people, but when it came up against the rituals of Windows and something called Mac, I couldn't find anything but references to Mac. I found some scraps of code for Windows, but I've never found anything for Mac. It all was all broken and shattered by the time I got there. But but you see, the Linux was kind of like a worm, if you know what a worm is, and it would go from computer to computer to use the data, and that's how that worked, as near as I can tell.
Huh? I haven't heard about any of that. But I have seen references to a ritual to how to fix your computer. I think they called it install Linux. I'm not quite, nobody knows what that is, but that they had this ritual that would apparently fix your computer. And if you had a big enough problem, they couldn't figure it out, they would invoke the install Linux ritual.
Interesting.
I always thought the old ritual was kick your computer if you can't fix it.
I mean, that certainly works sometimes. I would be inclined to believe, though, that due to the fact that they didn't necessarily know about magic at the time, that this probably wasn't so much a ritual as something else. I mean, perhaps it was a ritual in the sense of a series of actions that had to be completed in order to achieve the end result.
I mean,
possibly.
But I wouldn't think it was ritual in the sense that we understand it today.
I mean, it definitely involved a magic word. I found enough evidence of it to assure that the magic word was pseudo. That would make anything happen. That the ritual wouldn't work without the pseudo. I don't know why, but that's the way it worked.
Oh no, I've seen I've seen things that use pseudo. I think it's pseudo, not pseudo, but I'm not sure. It's a mechanism for privilege escalation.
Well,
we still have privilege escalation. That's very important.
We very much do. I mean, the pseudo was the magic word, and then the evil words were apparently -rm -rmrf. That was the evil words. Those were the ones that would get you in trouble no matter what you did, apparently. I don't know. I've only ever found them in text files, like log dumps or something like that, on old computers. I don't know whether or not that would actually do anything. I know it doesn't do anything nowadays. I may have tried it, but it didn't do anything. Not now.
Oh, we have a question from the audience. What was the weirdest bit of legacy code that you found? I think this is secondary to hacking, but it's also interesting, and I think it has some relevance. At least my answer does, because I found a place where you had some old game, and it was been translated over and over again. You can hardly even tell what it was about. I think it was about some like a pie eating cakes or something. I'm not sure. But in there, there was a place where there was where the code would jump out into an image file, and the image file would be translated as if it were code, and it would go back to code again. And I can't tell exactly why this is, but of course, on a hacking purpose, if somebody does something as ridiculous as this, all you have to do to fix it, or rather to hack it, is to somehow convince them to swap out the image file with an image file of your choosing that can do whatever you want.
Okay, other panelists? Yes, I see it. Weirdest bit of legacy code.
Well,
if coding is your purview.
As it so happens, I like going through old logs on old machines after I've gotten them open. And I found one that had, for some reason, just dumped a bunch of code into its old log files. I don't know why, and it didn't run when I tried it. But it did, it had a lot of loops. I think there were like, I don't know, complexity 50, I think. So complexity is the measure by which you measure the number of loops inside loops. So this one had a layer 50 loop. So you get you starting loop, and then you looped inside, and you looped inside, and looped inside, it looped inside. So that did it 50 times. I had a hell of a time reading where it went. But,
did it ever end?
It did. It did. Apparently, it ended with a car crash.
Are you sure that wasn't a corrupted file?
It was in the log files. I don't know why I dumped it, but...
Are you sure it wasn't simply badly implemented tail recursion?
No. It was apparently designed to work that way. And if... Apparently, according to the logs, it worked every day except one, and that the one that it didn't work was the day the car crashed. So, I don't know why somebody would write code like that, but they did, and apparently it kind of worked. Until people died. I have a blog post about it. I wrote it several years ago. It hasn't gotten many hits, but it's on my blog. It is on my blog.
I don't think we've heard enough from Asker.
www.pessimo.star if you're looking for the blog.
Yes, he's got on his badge. You've put the QR code on the back, or the barcode on the back of your badge. You just scan that with your phones, people, and you go right. You can immediately bookmark their blog.
Yep, right there.
Oh, by the way, I forgot to say because nobody was following you, moderator. I take any pronouns, but he, him is probably best for today.
Okay, that's fine.
Is being a bastard again.
I'm trying to fix my camera. I'm sorry.
Someone's
Come on.
hacking us from the future. They are very annoyed at us right
Bloody
now.
hell.
All right. Asker, do you have anything to weigh in on, or is coding?
Well, I spend less time on coding and more time on combing through old social media. So, I've seen some very interesting things out there that people just put out into the digital void. And I have this video of a fish talking to somebody about languages that just lives in my brain. There's a phrase going around that time of it's rent free, I think, was it's living rent free in my mind. And I think that applies, because that fish is definitely just staring at me all the time.
Okay.
Early 21st century humans were weird, okay?
And there is, well, they certainly see it from the precious little pre-purge data we have to go on. Like, it's difficult enough finding data about our own society from before 1700, because so much of it was digital by that point, that after the great loss during the Thurzaz Wars.
I mean,
so
the government
little.
still hasn't recovered. You just try asking them for any kind of government document, and they'll never find it, I swear.
I did see in the chat that we're getting, somebody asked about passwords being 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and
I think we have
the number of those is shameful. Just
that's not archaeology. That's still a problem today. People just
yeah.
don't take their
it's not even
passwords seriously.
It's not archaeology. It's not hacking, but it is very entertaining. And the number of ancient accounts I have entered using just the password 1, 2, 3, 4, 5
or password. Password was another one.
That's another big one.
I mean, it's 4117. You'd think people would take computer security more seriously, but
but nothing's changed.
Well, and so I will note one pattern here is that, of course, these days, generally you can't enter a password like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The software will stop you unless you are an administrator or somebody, or a high mucky muck who can override these defaults. And surprisingly enough, they almost always do.
Mindful warriors.
Okay, here's another interesting one about pre-colonial history. Or I think at this point it's getting more into mythology though. But why were badgers, mushrooms, and snakes so celebrated in the 21st century? Like I've seen that meme as well, or memes, or. But
I'm
yeah,
not
people
sure.
keep has any, or is that just my own studies?
I mean, I have come across.
I have seen
things.
I mean, it would suggest that these species did exist on Earth that was. So that's interesting.
I have seen an ancient game that had what it described as mushrooms in it, and so maybe that was part of why. I'm not sure.
I think it's because they were some kind of good luck charm. You find them a lot. You find references to them a lot, like around sometimes when people were laughing. There was a lot of joy associated with that particular meme, I want to say. And when you find them, people were laughing, and I'm not sure why, but any kind of thing that brings joy would probably be a good luck charm. So you send it to somebody if you wanted them to do well in whatever they were doing, and the I don't know, kind of upliftingness of the meme would bring them luck. Near as I can tell, that's about what they wanted to do. Well, I can't say that I particularly agree. From what I found, I think they are rather annoying, and I don't know about animals on Earth that was, but both the badgers and the snake seem to be doing a lot of dancing.
Yes, that's what I've seen. Um, it's just to many people debate on whether that is a fanciful representation or if they actually did dance on Earth. That was because there are planets with species of all of these organisms or any one of them, but they don't always dance.
I've come to believe that there was something to the dancing image in these ancient meme texts, that it was sort of like invoking a deity. And I haven't seen so much of the badgers, but I have seen a lot of they called them frogs, but they aren't quite like frogs like we have now. There was like a whole
I know what you're talking
subculture
about. It's on the tip of my,
around.
it's on the tip of my tongue. It's. Oh, I don't think it was quite frogs, but it was something similar. I think it was All Glory to the Hypnotoad. That ringing a bell?
Yeah.
Oh,
Hmm.
I've never heard of that, but I don't really go in for hypnosis.
Apparently,
Sometimes
the
the
image
ancient
associated with it was
texts just
rather
come.
strange.
Now I'm wondering whether the snake thing may be connected to the worm, which I believe is an ancient term for a self-replicating piece of code.
Or I also believe it was some sort of ancient dance move. I found some clips of people doing the worm.
And there's allegedly something people are still not sure exactly what it is, called Python.
I'm pretty sure
Like-
that's just a form of snake again.
Okay. Well,
Well,
I mean, it's
Yes,
synonym
but
for.
it comes up in a different context. It does make me wonder whether or not they're connected.
yeah, I don't know. I thought Python was some kind of a large bird with a beak and in bright colors.
Well, I heard it was rather fond of gems. Specifically, specifically ones called rubies. You know, the red gems. They were very fond of red gems. The ruby. So you'd always find the python with the ruby. I don't know. Perhaps they were just thinking about dragons. They could definitely be just a reference to dragons back then. Because we have to admit that most of this stuff is from before the elves fell. So we all welcome our supernatural friends there. The people before the veils fell would not have the correct references for some of the stuff they've seen. So maybe they were just mashing stuff together they'd seen that didn't make any sense because there was a veil, as it were.
Okay. Coming back to more recent ages of mankind and humanity, or I'm sorry, humanity, personkind. Also, why is so much of the interstellar financial backbone still written in COBOL? COBOL.
Because people were too lazy to update it, and now it's almost inaccessible.
Well,
I mean, that's basically it.
Absolutely. I mean, most of the compilers for COBOL were, of course, written after post crash in order to be able to replace existing code bases. But not to mention that they were having to target more modern systems, since a lot of the old systems were literally falling apart. But that itself is a potential use of hacking, because you have multiple levels of compilation. Managing to insert something into any of those levels allows you to control everything that happens below, almost invisibly. I think I remember maybe the professionals can tell me if this is true. I remember there was something where they realized that 600 years ago, somebody had hacked one of the levels in an encryption stack, and they hadn't noticed because they just never done anything important with it other than making tiny changes in financial systems that, of course, involved stealing, billions of credits.
Well, that's rather recent for my kind of interest, unfortunately. I was more interested in the pre-threses. That's the word. I'm more interested in the pre-threses kind of uh, technology coding bases, that kind of thing. The more recent stuff is not for me. It's so, there's so many people doing it, and it's so mainstream.
I did hear about that happening, but I don't know anything about it.
Okay, I think this one's definitely a troll. My grandparents used to tell me about something called Stack Overflow, but I always pictured a stack of pancakes falling over. Am I wrong? Panelists, you're welcome to answer this one, but I think this is a troll on our online viewership.
I found references to a Stack Overflow, but I think it was some kind of um dictionary, place where basically all code resided, and you just basically you flipped through it until you found what you wanted and took the pieces and put them other places, and that's basically what Stack Overflow was.
Huh.
It was not.
I remember references. I've never heard of that, but I have heard references about we're talking about bluffing on a programming job that you didn't know, calling it Stack Overflowing it.
Maybe. I've heard.
And maybe those are related. I know there is a core programming term called a stack, which is it's an ancient data structure that you can use to push data onto. And I suppose if you somehow managed to build that such that it was small enough that it would overflow, then bad things would happen. But these days they use self-expanding memory structures, so that's generally not going to be a problem. Although it does relate, I suppose, conceptually to we had an earlier thing about buffer overruns that maybe we want to get back to later.
I recall they replaced the stacks with clusters sometime in the 23rd century. The term stack stuck around, but the actual structure changed and internally, from what I can remember. And I don't know if that's still true or not. But you really can't really overflow a cluster. You just get bigger and bigger. I mean, I've never seen any kind of piece of data or anything like that could be bigger than a thing's memory. I mean, you just keep adding more memory.
Has anyone seen a hack involving messing with the underlying structure? Maybe this is what Stack Overflow involves. There's the ancient substructure that they use on a bunch of systems. I think it's called the craft mine. And you can apparently there's a hack where you can go into it and have an avatar that walks around and potentially rearrange the order of stacks.
Maybe. I've never seen anything like that.
I mean, you've seen stuff coded in CraftMine, right?
I've seen references to CraftMine, and I found pictures, but they don't look like any kind of real systems. I mean, they look almost like they were simulated systems. Very weird. Quite odd.
Chat, again, I appreciate your questions, but this is computer archaeology and not biology, so if you want to know what the fox says, this isn't the right panel. I'm sorry.
That's a reference to a very obscure old meme.
Oh. All right.
But
it's still not a meme panel. I mean, except when the meme involves hacking.
I mean, yeah, this isn't an ancient memes panel. That is on, I think, tomorrow afternoon.
Yeah.
But there are memes about hacking.
Yeah, the ancient memes panel is called "Thanks for the Memories."
I hate that.
Yeah, I'm gonna be moderating that one too.
We won't be there.
I will definitely skip it. Oh.
Another question from chat. Was it true that the weather used to impact networking and the network admins had to beware of packet storms?
So I am told, I remember that they had computers and computer networks before they had starships, I think. At least based on my reading, that seems to be the case. There seems to be stories involving computers that do not mention frequent, normal use of starships available to regular people.
I think that navigating on starships would be something that would come after the advent of computers.
Right. And so presumably at a point where they have computers but not starships, they didn't need to build shielding that would be required if you're going to have to worry about what if someone takes this computer onto a starship. At which point, minor electrical interference, like say weather patterns, might be much more of an issue.
I believe I found some evidence to suggest that packet storms were actual physical weather events, and what happened was the microcharges would build up and would simulate network traffic on the networks, because networks were contained within one atmosphere. So they would bounce off and they would interfere with each other, and that would make the packet storms into a real problem for network admins.
I'm sorry, just if I can interrupt for just a minute. Thank you for your questions, chat, but references to zombies are not an acceptable term, as that is a slur for vampire, and the correct term is kindred. So, I'm sorry. One of our mods might delete you for that. But if you could please rephrase your question in a kinder, more accepting manner, like we will consider it. But given what was zombie? Is it true that the undead used to mess with ancient computers with zombie children clogging? No, that is not an appropriate question. This is a safe place for Supernats and their friends, and all are welcome to come to ETC. And Eden City. So if you could, I'm sorry, mods, can you delete that one? Like that is an inappropriate question. Please avoid using racial slurs or supernat slurs in the chat room, or we will have to ask you to leave. Okay, I'm sorry. Packet storms? Or do we have anything else to say on packet storms?
No.
Okay, I just needed to do a bit of chat moderation. So
yeah,
understandable. We want everyone to feel safe here.
Mm-hmm. We certainly do.
Okay, okay, here's one. Again related to coding. Who was Leet, and why is his name often found in various old codes? Now this has been up for a lot of debate as whether Leet is a person or a coding language unto itself. Some have suggested it might be a deity that was worshipped by ancient coders. Others suggest it was some sort of a term for coder aristocracy, but then that's not completely separate from the deity, as some aristocrats will deify themselves.
Well, my research has suggested that elite didn't actually refer to coders at all. The coders were just kind of people who did the elite sort of, but the actual elite people were the people who did the building of the computers. You had to be elite to build the computers, otherwise you would damaged the internals apparently before or some sort of thing like that.
Now
I've
maybe I've
never
missed
heard that
something,
interpretation.
but I thought, I mean, every time I've never seen anyone describe it this way. So maybe it's just completely off the wall. Again, amateur here talking, but I feel like every time the term lead is used, it's there's a funky ASCII uh code, ancient Unicode system that's sort of twisted. I'm wondering whether those may be related in some fashion.
No, I don't think that's true at all. You do have to leave this sort of thing to the professionals. Otherwise, we might get things like that in professional papers, and people would be misled.
I mean, maybe,
but no, I'm pretty sure.
but maybe the elites use this weird, coding system, character coding system is their native coding system. Maybe it's just off. I'm just gonna get off the cuff
I don't think that's true. I think it's just to do with the status on their building, if they could build their computers properly or not.
Okay, so it was sort of like a status like journeyman or master for people building computers.
Right. So if you reach the elite status, you could build basically any kind of computer, and people would pay you very well for it.
Wait, what about? They also had reference to computer wizards. I don't think that referred to mages. I could be wrong.
I think that was a turn of phrase and a comparison to wizards, which were possibly known of. I don't know whether or not they knew about mages at the time. I can't tell based on the things I have read.
It's generally accepted that humanity did not know about Supernats until the Thurzaz Wars.
Yes, but I've seen enough references to magic, and I don't know whether it was people writing fictions or if the things that I happen to be reading are from people who knew about supernatural beings and events. So that might just be a turn of phrase. If you're a computer wizard, don't know.
I think that if you look back, that the at what wizard actually means, because we don't call people wizards nowadays. It's kind of a dumb thing to do. But wizard is base of whiz, which bases same basis wisdom, which means that people who were called wizards were probably just very smart kind of people. So I think that that's got what to do with the people who are computer wizards, were just people who are very smart about computers. So that would be more general than elite. Elite would be, specifically the building of computers. But I think computer wizards were people who would go both good at building and at coding and at using, because as we all have seen today, that coding doesn't necessarily mean you know how to use what you're making. We've seen a few people have some rather bad experiences with computers that they didn't code themselves. It's a mess. It's an ungodly mess.
Okay. Thank you for that question. You can talk to all of our panelists and get autographs or what you like after the panel.
I will be selling autograph copies of my book.
I will not be signing autographs, but I will point out that "Can I ask for your autograph?" is in fact an ancient hacking technique. When you ask someone for your autograph, you are getting their signature. You are getting probably their fingerprints.
My bad.
No.
Well, this is why
is a
panels.
Relevant question.
This is why panels we have more than one person, especially on such a complicated subject as computer archaeology and hacking.
So regarding Captain Crunch, I have seen this is not a Captain Crunch whistle, but I have seen record that there may be whistles like this that had a Captain Crunch logo. So I'm wondering whether Captain Crunch may have been somebody who made this kind of hacking whistle.
I think Captain Crunch more has to do with actually encoding the data, because I found references to Crunchitize make happen, which I think was just a request to the main server to encrypt their data. That would make the most sense. And I don't think it has anything to do with the whiffling at all. I still don't believe a whiffling was really a thing.
Here's another one. I think that is coming back to the hacking archaeology subject. Why was cutlery-based explosives used to break into ancient computer systems? So this is more of a physical hardware hacking than coding or the like.
I've heard of forting. I believe it was used very very popular with trying to kill parents. Parents being in this case referring to older computers back before the Frakers wars. See, so you use a fork and you use it on your computer, and it would kill the parents, and that way you would get inside and get to the data. I'm not sure why they called it a fork or why they called what they use the forks on parents. But every time they did, they got into the system and changed the data in there, near as I could tell.
That's interesting. I know I've seen some, and I thought there was an argument of forks versus threads. I'm wondering whether there were hackers who used cutlery versus hackers that used needlecraft.
Maybe I found some references to threads as well, but I didn't realize they had anything to do with coding. I thought they were just talking about ordering stuff for their companies or whatever, textile companies. They might
But I've
very
seen
well.
something about people saying the threads were better than forks or vice versa. So that seemed like they were the same kind of thing. Maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. We've established with the fish video that people back before the Xerxes Wars were very strange. Maybe they just called forks and threads and what have yous. Maybe they were just all kind of trying to. I don't know. My real question is why they were using all these kinds of explosives to get into computers. There's a better way to do that, I don't see why they would do such a thing, but they did apparently.
I mean,
Yep, please.
physical barriers are one way to protect your data, I suppose, but then no one can use it. Also, destruction of the outside structure might harm and corrupt that data, which has been a big problem in more modern or closer to now archaeology, where yes, let's blow a hole in the side of this derelict ship and fry the computers at the same time.
So, as somebody
amateurs.
who has professional interest in the defensive side of hacking, you definitely have to worry about somebody deciding that it's far too difficult to trick your system into giving them the data they want and just cut or blow a hole in wherever you have securing the physical data and walk off with it. That is absolutely a serious, real concern today. There's no reason it wouldn't have been a concern then as well.
Absolutely.
True.
Absolutely. So, from what our archaeologists can figure, Earth certainly had explosives. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been able to get spaceships off the Earth and into space, because supposedly back then they did not have. Well, they had to. I mean, it's a chicken. It is generally a chicken and the egg debate, but
well,
you can't you can't build spaceships on a planet in a planet's gravitational pull, but it's like, but you can't get out to space without a spaceship to build a space dock to build more spaceship. But that's not hacking. I'm sorry. Anyway, you were saying.
I was just going to say that physical intrusion. I mean, it wasn't. They didn't just use explosives. Apparently, there were also, I believe, mobs involved. Something called They used a lot of people when they would just all talk, trying to get the data at once, and that would just clog everything up. So nobody could get it, but it would also deny actual users the use of it. And I can't remember what they called that technique. Something service something.
Denial of service?
That sounds correct, I guess.
I mean, that's a thing.
I mean, we still do that. I mean, well,
we still use denial of service attacks.
Yes.
Apparently, they were actually using physical people back in the day instead of, just spinning up 1,000 different little bots to do it for you.
Interesting.
I don't know why.
Wait, does that relate to any of the words that we're not going to be using during this panel?
Mobs?
No. That,
What? Wait. Sorry. There was my earpiece caught some interference and I got distracted.
Don't think so.
Okay. Double hit. Sorry, I'm catching up on the chat questions.
yeah,
What?
no. I can take one of those.
Oh,
or at least I mean, again, what I think is right. I have seen references to computer games where using like they were called like cowboy. I'm not quite sure why they're called cowboy because there were no cows in it or anything that we currently call cows, but there were horses. And so in there, your character always wore a white hat and the bad guys always wore a black hat. So I'm wondering whether that may be related to the ancient hacker thing. Or maybe white hats are always your side and black hats the other side.
Well, I mean, these are still terms we use today. You mean the ancient origins in
Oh, yeah,
hacktivism
absolutely.
of why the yeah, I have often wondered where those terms come from. But so you say cowboy games?
Yes.
Cowboy games, yeah.
Huh.
I don't see what sartorial choices have to do with whether or not you're attacking a system or defending it. I mean, doesn't make much sense that way.
We now have the terms, black hat hackers are offensive hackers and white hat hackers are defensive hackers. So,
but where'd they get the hats?
Yes, I will admit to having done a bit of hacking in my day, trying to get into some old systems, and I never got a hat for it. I mean, how do you know if I was a white hat or a black hat if I wasn't wearing a hat? It doesn't make sense. I mean, what's to stop a black hat hacker from wearing a white hat? Would that make him a white hat hacker then, even if they were still attacking systems? It's
if they
choices that just don't make any sense, really.
If they can see the color of your hat, you're hacking wrong. Like, really?
Well,
that too.
Yes.
That too.
But I mean, now it's more of a metaphor. Like maybe it was more literal, or connected to something more literal back then. I have to say this gets onto a favorite kind of a favorite subject. What pharmaceuticals were ancient computers using to get stoned? I'm not gonna say I've never applied an AI with interesting, confusing codes. But,
I would just like to say that Klaus is trying really hard not to just fucking die in the back of the room. And
So,
Petruchio can see them.
Okay, so I will have to say that
like don't believe what the megacorps say.
So I'm not sure this is actually true.
AI.
But I've seen some reference. Maybe I talked to an old vampire. I'm not going to say. But
I believe
apparently,
the polite term is kindred.
Fair enough. Really. Anyway,
I mean, isn't he the vampire on the isn't he the, excuse me, Kindred on the panel? Wouldn't he know?
tell them that. Anyway, but apparently there was a point long in history where a computer wasn't a machine, it was a person.
Yes, I have heard that theory.
And so in that case, you could totally ply that computer with alcohol or some other drug of your choice.
That's true. So not necessarily code or what have you, but so actually getting a computing person drunk.
Yeah.
And then, well, I mean, before computers, there were books. Before books, presumably, we just had to remember things in our own humanoid brains.
Or stone tablets, whatever.
Stone tablets. Wax tablets. Paper.
I don't think that before the terrorist wars you could do that with computers though, because they weren't intelligent. Like from the scripts I've seen on the old computers I've hacked open, all the code and stuff, it doesn't look like true AI. It was just lots of if-else trees. It could fake it pretty decently, but it wasn't actually alive.
It's definitely thought that Earth did develop AI before the colonial fleet left, but it's a little, there's not a lot of data left. And it's difficult to find enough data and coding on those early AIs, and we're not sure where they're from, so that we can't just reconstruct it and see how it behaves and see, is this really an AI? Is this an early experiment? So
I'll
it's,
believe it when I see it.
yeah, that's fair. There's it's sadly, it's, I mean, it comes down to insufficient data, and that is one of the downsides of archaeology, is we can't always know we have all of the pieces before we start examining them. So
And
it's
since the
difficult to
proof is
tell,
not,
like, is this AI or is this small AI or
yeah, that is the problem. Absence
I
of proof is
mean,
not proof of absence.
mm,
well, and I mean, even now we have plenty of things where they deliberately going way before the cusp of AI in order to avoid legal issues, depending on where they are, or just in order to make sure that it's more that the result is more predictable.
hmm.
True.
You mean by using a standard dummy, well, we need a better term for that, dummy OS rather than an actual AI.
Exactly. I mean, well, among other things, so the techniques you use on an AI system are much different than the techniques that you use. They're much more closer to human hacking than they
Mm.
are to true computer hacking.
No, I'm sorry. This is not the panel on Gundam construction through the ages. That's the next panel. You're here a little early. You're welcome to sit and listen if you have any questions. This is This is hacking archaeology or
Um,
archaeological hacking. Actually, that's just, have any of our panelists enacted any hacking techniques of the modern age to put together archaeological pieces of old?
Well, I don't know. It's very hard to apply hacking techniques of these days because require mm, they require four-dimensional computing graphics crystals. You can't hacking binary is very hard when you've got a quaternary computer to try and do it with. So for a certain age of technology, before they got ternary computing working, and after that quaternary computing, you have to really use what it's very difficult to emulate the old systems to try and hack the old systems. So you have to set up an emulation of the old computers so you don't accidentally overwhelm the old system with a instead of an if else you instead of a one or a zero you send them a three or something, and it just freaks out when you do that. I mean, I don't know why people just try to use binary. It was a very limiting language, but when you but so you got to actually match the computing assembly language thing once you're hacking it, otherwise you will burn out the computer. It just simply won't work anymore. I don't know why that happened. I did accidentally demagnetize an entire reel of data files that way, trying to read them with a quaternary computer, and they were in binary, and it was a mess. And that was a very long time ago at the beginning of my career, and was almost the end of my career at the time. But I overcame it, and I have gone forward. I've
oh,
learned from my mistakes.
that sounds familiar. I remember a story. It was a folk tale, I think, at this point. But it claimed to be going to go back almost to the times of the ancients, where they had a piece of data they were trying to read. Apparently, it was written in some language called Beta, and in order to read it, they needed to go back to Old Earth. But if, of course, if it was written on Old Earth, they wouldn't need to go back to Old Earth. So it's not clear exactly when this was written and what medium it was originally written in. I read it as a text folktale.
Okay.
I don't.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
I was going to say I've heard the story you're talking about. It's been told to me, and you're right. It doesn't make any sense because we once we got off Earth, there it was. We just never went back. It was just as near as I could tell from what I've heard.
Oh, I'm sorry, sir. The argument room is actually two doors down. But yeah, they can take care of you there, no problem. Thank you. Thank you for being patient with us. Yes, it's right next to the video game designer think tank. Because we figured that corner, put all the loud rooms in one corner. Okay, just if someone flooded the bathroom, just tell any of the security or attendants, people belonging to the venue. They're all wearing uniforms. Speaking of folktales, Skynet. Was it a corporation? Was it an AI? And why did it want to kill people all the time? So yes, it's very unclear as to whether Skynet was a meme or some kind of technological folktale or an actual like ancient megacorp or AI that caused problems for pre-colonial humanity.
Yeah,
Have you heard of
based on
this?
based on I've heard of this, but based on the time it occurs, they wouldn't have had the AI to produce something as described with Skynet. So I don't know. Maybe it was a corporation using ancient pre-AI systems, expert systems, and in order as a military form. I'm not really sure.
If I recall correctly, everything I've read about the system Skynet suggests that it was a system designed to regulate military hardware, but it was created by a programmer and did exactly what it was told, which is any programmer would tell you is probably not what you actually want to do. You know what I mean? Once it's like telling a robot to sweep the floor. This is another one that happened. Was someone told I think a learning machine a robot to sweep the floor, but it didn't tell it when to stop sweeping the floor, so it just swept the floor until like it was sweeping the floor and it was mopping the floor too. So it had a bunch of water and it basically flooded the entire building because it didn't tell it when to stop. So I'm thinking that the Skynet thing was just an expert system that did exactly what it was told to do, but it didn't have the right kind of end condition or something like that, and then it killing a bunch of people.
So if
I had to guess, I would say that's what that is.
So we've gone a little bit off topic, but I'm going to listen a little. What about the theory that Skynet was ran on something called a matrix?
I mean,
utter bullshit.
Yeah.
And it didn't make much sense to me, but I've definitely seen people proposing that.
Oh, that brings me to one of my questions. What is your favorite debunked theory of archeo-hacking? To open to everyone, panel. Go for it. I'm getting the 5-minute signal from our guy at the audio booth.
Well, I'd say my favorite debunk theory would be one that people used to. There was apparently a thing called Vine that people used to send video messages to each other.
Oh, I've heard of that.
As I recall, the thing was debunked as a whole kind of spy cam thing, and it was just an awful mess sort of thing, and it never actually existed. It was just a dream. Someone dreamed it up and then never really implemented it.
Oh, so it was a supposed social media outlet, and that just people assume now didn't exist at all.
Correct. We've never found any kind of record of its existence at all. Not a single one.
Interesting.
There are a lot of jokes going around about how it died, but I think that this means that it never existed to begin with, and the idea of it kind of died. It's a very interesting thing. Far too much to get into with 5 minutes left.
So my favorite is the GNU theory. The idea of GNU, that there was a group called GNU as an ancient set of hackers that controlled all of the systems. But we've looked at a huge variety of ancient viruses and worms, and the organization GNU never claims credit. So it's clear that whatever GNU was, they were not hackers.
Is that related to the GRU?
Huh.
really thought you were talking about glue, which was something else entirely,
I'm not
apparently.
sure.
Well, I mean, we still have glue today, but in terms, if it's in terms of hacking and software, I don't know.
No, it was glue was a very was a back end kind of thing that just people used to stick things
Well,
together
no,
on the
yes,
internet.
yes, we have glue today.
Glue survived, really.
I apologize. Some.
Okay.
Wait, never mind.
Okay, so, alright, I don't see the panelists for the next panel lining up, which is sad, because I know there's at least one person here to see them, so, yeah, we'll end when we're going to end, as usual, and then I guess if they don't turn up, we can just keep talking about this after a break of maybe 10 minutes. Pessimal, we have a question in chat. Do you have copies of your book for sale, and can I buy one? Are you in the dealer's basement? The catacombs of the dealers?
I have both a booth and and an assistant selling copies of my book.
Oh,
My dear niece is agreed to help me with today in exchange for coming to the great city of Eden.
yes,
I
this is
brought
a
her
great...
along from Ankh. We both came from Ankh to come to ETC, and we've had a good time so far. And we do have copies of the book available.
Now, just so for my own, so that you're from, so is that Ankh, planet Ankh in the system of Morpuk?
Might be, yes.
Okay, I'm like you keep saying it, and I'm like, I've heard of this. It sounds so familiar. I'm like, oh, okay. I've heard interesting things about your system. Cool.
Many people have.
Well, I mean, if anyone here is interested, yep, you can find their book in the dealer's room, which has been banished to the basement this year. Sorry, I don't run the con. I just run the panels sometimes.
Well, I'm sure the Kindred are finding the basement quite pleasant.
You
It
would know.
depends on the Kindred. Now, anyone...
I'm aware.
Anyone is welcome to.
I hope you know Klaus is dying again.
Anyone is welcome to reveal their status. This is a safe place, but revealing someone else's status without their consent is generally not cool, bad form.
Badge.
So,
So it's badge.
is it on your badge?
No, definitely
No,
not.
it's not.
Can't be for me.
Okay, so I'm getting the wave from our person in the audio booth. So I guess we're gonna go offline for 10 minutes, and if giving a free orange soda at the corner booth.
Oh fuck yeah.
Which corner is that, in the basement? Like, the booths, we are on a different level than the booths. So yeah, we might continue this conversation for another while. Until the panel after this. I'm sorry, I know at least one person here really wanted to see the Gundam panel. I mean, we'll see if we can answer any of your questions. I mean, it'll be kind of a free-for-all if we come back. So, you know, I'll let you know. We'll talk to our panelists and see if chat wants to, if our audience maybe wants to stay for another while. And so either we'll be back in 10 minutes, or the panel that's supposed to be here will be here in 10 minutes. But, you know, that's ETC for you. You know, things are a little nuts here.
Really is.
But fun. So thank you, panelists. So, Pessimal, we know you've given us all of your contact info, and you have books to sell downstairs. So
I do.
we know where to find you. Would either of our other panelists, is there any social media, or modern social media, not ancient, or anything you'd like to plug before we wrap?
Oh yeah, I have a blog much like Pessimal does, where I discuss the ancient social medias, you know, through modern social media, and if anybody is interested in that, you can look that up.
Cool.
Out of character. Oscar's got 10,000 hits on their blog. Just putting it out there.
Oh yeah, so Oscar is like genuinely well known.
Yeah.
And totally over it.
Jaded. Definitely a little bit of the con brain, but also genuinely jaded.
So those of you who know me, you know where you can find me. Beyond that,
You
if
said you
anyone,
work for Carve Tourism Limited?
indeed, if you're interested in booking a tour or other things that we might be able to help you out with, feel free to call or find me on the floor. I may not have time. I'm doing a lot of things here, but if I can give you a little bit of time, I will. Great.
All right. Well, thank you all for coming to our From Freaks to Frakers panel. What was the full name again? I'm sorry. This panel has a really long name.
From Freaks to Frakers, from Ancient Hacking Techniques.
Ah, yes. An exploration of ancient hacking techniques and how their concepts might still be applicable today. Yeah, we got a little bit off topic, but maybe we'll be back for another panel session.
I mean, aside from, I think Asker has some skills that didn't really come in there, but we didn't really go into how modern applicability. I tried to push things a little bit that way, but
Well, maybe if we come back for more paneling after 10 minutes. Okay, and with that, the panel adjourns, and I go back into GM voice. And people come up to talk. Asker is thronged by people. Pessimal, somewhat less so.
I'm just like, follow me, we're going to get the orange soda.
Be back in 10 minutes. And Petruchio, a few people come up to you and ask, like, if you have any brochures for your company, because they are, Eden's a really nice city and very welcoming. And there's goblin fruit everywhere. And
I have some cards.
Mm-hmm.
The cards presumably have links to the actual electronic brochure.
Oh yeah, you probably have a scannable code on your badge too, just a sticker.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, here, just scan this. All right, we're good. No contact. All right, chat. So that's been the first half of today's game. I could honestly do this forever. So if I wish I knew how to put a poll in chat. I'm not even sure if I could do that without being an affiliate. So, I mean, if anyone who's viewing...
I think we'd need a bot.
We need a bot?
Which we do not have.
We do not have. So, hello, I'm with Church of the Star. No, actually, what did I call them? There is a church, there is a cult of Trek. There is a Trek cult. They boast having over 300 episodes, and they are using those episodes to try and extrapolate the location of Earth that was. And they are in the dealer's room, and they have their own table. And there's also the Trek cult also has the apocryphal books of the Star Wars and the Fireflies, which is like a bunch of like one thing with like fungus zombies, and another thing with like pirates in space, and it's like, what? Okay. And another thing about like a city after an atomic bomb went off. It's weird. We still have atomics. That's awesome. Yeah, they're not exactly a church, but it's interesting. So,
Have you heard the word of our Lord and Savior Picard, Captain Jean-Luc Picard?
There are those who take it to that extreme. So, chat, I guess vote in the chat if you want to see more panel or more plot after our break. Just type in panel or plot. What?
Is the Church of Sinclair an offshoot of the Church of the Star? I'm not sure.
Well, the Babylon, the books of Babylon are apocryphal. So they're like, we know these fit together, but we're not sure why or how. Panel or plot? I think Crystal is afraid we'll leave if she goes to break. Yeah, I do fear of things like that because we don't have fun music or anything, but we also need a break. Well, everyone else needs a break. I could keep going, but okay, Tempto wants to see plot, but I guess if everyone's away from somewhere where they could type
Voodoo, let's see Ungwa.
Ungwa. I don't know what that means. I do not know this reference.
I don't get it either.
Yep.
Okay, no one's answering the question, so
We had one vote.
We
had
have
one vote.
we have 10
for
minutes
plot.
to figure it out.
All right, so everyone, we're gonna go on break. Vote in the chat, plot or panel, and that's what we'll do for the second half of game. Because I am under no rush to get through this, because I want fun, and we didn't have con season. I'm just glad I went to Eresia in January before everything went to hell. So yeah. So yeah, you be in chat, and we will switch to our other screen. And so yeah, players, are you willing to go with the whim of chat?
Yeah.
Awesome.
I would like at least a 2-minute warning on if we go for plot, because
Yeah.
I will have
Yeah.
to switch to
Yeah, no, I'm
to
happy to
get
do
up.
plot. We spent an hour and some odd improving off each other and the panel, and that was a lot of fun, but it was also a lot of work.
So I'm good either way, but I do need a warning because I will have to switch get-ups.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you,
Especially
Tempo.
that balance of right and wrong.
Yeah, it wasn't like strictly wrong answers only, but I'm like, let's see what happens, because at least two people.
No. That's why it was sort of, we have to have a balance. Where do we,
How hotel are we going with this?
Merc, thank you for being wrong a
Oh,
lot of the
yeah.
time. That was great.
All right, so chat,
Wrong, but absolutely convinced I'm right.
which is the best kind of panelist for improving drama.
Well, yes, as opposed to I'm right, but I'm an amateur, so I don't really know anything.
Strangely enough, for Avantru that can admit when he doesn't know something or is wrong.
Well, among other things, I'm not going to admit that I'm 80 years old. So
Which isn't really that old. Anyway.
Yeah, I mean,
No, it's not, but I don't look 80 years old.
So yeah, chat, we'll be back in 10 minutes, chat. So going offline, we'll put up our pretty save screen, so this isn't two streams that I can't knit together like last week. All right, be back in a sec, chat. And mute. Hello! We're still here. The desktop audio looks weird. Someone say something so I can make sure it still works.
Testing.
Yes.
1,
Yay,
2,
we still have
4.
sound! Windows
This
10
is
is amazing.
delightful.
Whew, Windows 10 and quadruple my old RAM is awesome. So it looks like chat voted for plot. So, and I will start the timer because this will be running a little late, maybe. Where's Tom Hanks? We need him for a sound test. I don't know. I'm sure he's streaming somewhere. Because he seems like the kind of guy that would start trying to stream. Maybe not on Twitch. But anyway, yeah, thank you for sticking around with us. I'm sorry if you just came in and missed our panel discussion, which is awesome, but it'll be on the VOD. And I am very, very glad that the weird game I thought up of in the last moments of last week's game went really fun. And damn it, I'm gonna run a pretend convention in all of my chronicles from now on.
This is a good plan.
it is.
Definitely.
But yeah, so when we last left our protagonists, Petruchio, so it looks like those other panelists did show up just late because nerd time.
They had to they took an extra 10 minutes to coordinate all their models and stuff. They had to get the boxes in and set them out, for the physical demonstration.
Yeah. And they were doing that, to be nice, they were doing that in the hallway outside rather than in this room, which was really nice of them.
Kind.
So,
Very
yeah.
polite.
So yeah, as things are wrapping up, so those nerds are setting up their Gundam display, and there's like a lot of really cool stuff out. Panel. We run a panel in every game. Now now these sci-fi World of Darkness characters only go to cons because they're a travel agency there. And we're better to run an underground railroad for Supernats than at a chain of conventions.
table that motion, but
Eh.
Yeah, I know.
Like, how can you tell who's in costume?
So are you actually a vampire, or are you cosplaying as a vampire? I'm sorry, Kindred. Yeah. So things
I'm
are...
sorry, but a pair of fake ears and some stick-on fur do not a werewolf make.
No.
but
And
can't you imagine the werewolf who is cosplaying as a werewolf?
There you go.
That
oh, that happens
yeah,
a lot,
there you
I'm
go.
sure. Well, you know, there's better media representation on this planet, so more supernatural creatures can cosplay as their same supernatural creatures in this system than in other systems of the Expanse. So, anywho, yes. So welcome back to Magic Fish Radio, and I guess we'll be continuing on with plot because that's what the people in chat voted on without an actual poll because we are not affiliate yet. So this is another reminder to, if you have friends that you think would like a fun World of Darkness in space, sci-fi, less grimdark, more weirdness game, send them our way. Because once we hit 50 followers, we might get affiliate, and then we get more stuff to play with and allow for more audience interaction. Because I have been itching for more audience interaction, but I don't know how to do it without all of the app thingies that we're not allowed to get until we're affiliate.
But we did have a lot of audience interaction this
Yes,
time.
that's one of the reasons I got so excited, was we could finally have audience interaction in a way that makes sense. Yes. So yeah, so anyway.
Cthulhu said in chat, an Illithid cosplaying as Cthulhu, and I'm just kind of dying.
I don't. I take it that's a D&D race because I don't know what it is.
The Mind
It is.
Flayers.
It's a mind
Oh.
player.
I didn't know that was their correct name. Okay.
Yeah.
Anywho, so yes, the next panel is setting up, and you know, Oscar got thronged by adoring fans, and
Decimal rather less so.
Cosmo rather less so. But you know, a couple people were interested and took your card, and a couple people took or got links from Petruchio for their electronic brochures for Eden
Yep.
system. And as things are, you know, calming down, and the previous panel attendees are leaving and more are coming in, Pod kind of is like, you know, it's like, hi, so Petruchio, it's really nice getting to meet you.
Yeah, it was nice meeting you too.
So I figured we would have eventually, since I mean, we both know Neri. So
yeah, absolutely. I really hope I can find my cookies.
yeah,
They disappeared somewhere in the expo hall.
okay. If you, I mean, text me a picture of what they look like, and I mean,
Oh, sure.
at least I'll know, like, oh, those are the good cookies. Also, Neri asked me to give you something, and they kind of reach it. They're wearing, basically jeans and t-shirt with this kind of tweed jacket over it. They look very, very, gender neutral, gender neutral. Very androgynous, that's the word. And they've got buttons. Petruchio, at this point, I think you've sat next to them for long enough that you just noticed that there is a weird... I don't remember if I pointed this out last game. I think you kept missing it. They have this interesting little, like, it's not a lapel pin. It's almost more like a charm that you could put on a necklace, but they have it on like a safety pin on their lapel. And it looks like, you know, like the barrel of monkeys, like a very flat shape of a monkey. Yeah. And it's been cut out of a circuit board, or, well, obviously a fried circuit board, because you don't waste good stuff.
You did mention it last time,
Yeah.
I think.
So they've got that, and that kind of, not jingles, but sort of wiggles a bit as they go into their, you know, breast pocket of their coat, and they hand you a paper envelope that's been sealed, and it just says Petruchio on it, in cursive. It's like, yeah, so this is from Granny.
Oh, thanks.
So yeah, I guess just, you know, actually, yeah, let me, and they hold up their communication device. I could just, you know, send you my number if you want to hang out
Yeah,
at
absolutely.
Con, or are you on any other panels?
Not this time. I had bare enough time to prep for this one.
Okay. Yeah, I'm on a couple. There are a few last minute dropouts. And
Actually, I think we said we established that Petruchio was on 2 panels, but I don't remember what the other one was, so we
This-
went into detail.
This is the only one I have a name for, but we
Yeah,
can,
exactly.
It's the only one I remember.
You know, we can do another panel. I'm happy being here being at this con for the rest of the year. Like, it's fun. This is just day one. But yeah, so yeah, just yeah, I'm staying in town, and maybe I'll get, I have your info, so if I'm looking for anything fun to do, I mean, you run a tourist agency.
I do.
A simple tourist agency.
Oh yeah, no, absolutely. Nothing particularly secret about it at all.
Yeah.
So
if
I'm just
if
like
you're interested-
lurking awkwardly on the fringes of this conversation because I wasn't gonna just like leave the room without Petruchio, but also I clearly don't have any need to be in this conversation. But I'm kind of dying a little bit at the like you're
Klaus is afraid to
not
go
being
anywhere without their
subtle at
emotional
all.
support
I'm just
vampire.
like
Okay, so I'm actually gonna move on to the video game designer think tank. They're having I think a really fun contest. I might be a little late
have a
for
good time.
it, but okay. Yeah, so I'll see you later. Bye.
Absolutely.
And they walk away.
I like how Dune has gotten Slinky Kitty Vampire's phone number, and Petruchio's gotten hacker person's number at this point.
Yep.
Cons are just for hookups, apparently.
They are pretty cute. There's a lot of hot nerds at this con.
There are. I mean, some of us are hot nerds at this con, but
Not
Woohoo.
Dune.
Aw.
not after 87 years, 60 years of being a mercenary.
it takes all tastes.
Someone tried to flirt with him. He's just like, nope.
Someone was using wait, are you talking about the chick from the
Marguerite.
okay,
Yeah.
that was player being completely ignorant, not Dune. That's on me. That's yeah.
Okay, noted. Hot nerds from the planet Venus. We don't know where that is, because we don't know where Earth is.
Nope, no idea.
But, I mean, we're on a planet, we're in a city, in a system named for another goddess, on a planet named Balder. Because #Space Vikings.
who is a god of beauty in some respect, which I do think is funny.
And, Eden City with the Broggy Library. Anyway, so yeah, they depart for fun.
Sure. Once I have a little bit of privacy, I will check the envelope.
Mhm.
Also, give a glance to Klaus in case they want to meet up.
Klaus has a toy lightsaber, I guess.
I've just produced this from nowhere and I'm just like gleefully lighting it up.
Because we're at con, damn it. It's like, I don't know what this is, but it's awesome.
Petruchio, look, I got a fake sword. It's foam.
This is how we do it.
So what's in the envelope?
So it's a handwritten letter. You've never actually seen Granny's handwriting before. You assume it's Granny's handwriting. You've never actually seen it before, since this is not the kind of person you would expect to communicate with hard copy ever. Like, she's 190 something year old little old lady, but like she's still a hacktivist.
Yep.
So more interesting is there is a language there should be a language on your character sheet that is extremely specific to a certain group of people based on base 5.
Where is this language? I don't know.
It should. So let's just say that a select group of people you belong to, that is in your background, have a certain language that it's not uncommon for people from your planet, families, groups, etc., to kind of base language, like actual speaking or languages of communication on computer code.
Right.
And this is one that is specifically based on a base 5 coding system, and it's, and it's just sort of a thing that, you and that group use to communicate with each other in secure ways. So kind of the first shock Petruchio has is that this letter is written in that language.
Sure.
And you're no idea how an outsider like Nerissa could even know it.
Right.
You are completely sure no one else in this entire system can read this letter, but, like, what?
Lord, sorry. That's
So that's interesting to start.
I mean, mages, they can break the rules, but even so, why would she even know it existed?
Right. So the letters, as written in this language, says, I think that scientist was primed by Task Force Valkyrie. I will not send further information via digital means. Please watch your back. The monkeys are your allies. Love, Granny. Love, Granny.
Hey, we're the monkeys. Sorry.
So, yeah. Chat, you want a plot? Have some plot.
Whoa, did we just find the plot?
Well, you found a plot.
We found a plot.
We've been
We found a
inventing our own
continuation
for a
of
while
previous
now.
plot, in fact. Not those monkeys.
Why not?
There could be connection for all we know.
So yeah, it looks like Granny did figure out what that was about, but didn't want to commit it to digital.
Yep.
Because, do you remember what you know what? Task Force Valkyrie. If you don't remember it, it's in the glossary. Everything's fine. Nothing weird about this at all. Chat, just to catch up any newer viewers, the prince of the city decided that our protagonists were in charge of figuring out a weird designer drug ring thing that because it caused a vampire to frenzy, a maquette to frenzy in the middle of Iraq. And the prince said, you know what? Y'all were there when it happened. Now this is your problem. Because this is still the world of darkness. The prince says it's your problem. It's your problem.
It's your problem.
Especially when the prince bankrolls your Underground Railroad. So,
Yep.
What you found in the middle of it was a proximity mage who was trying to use a weird combination of chemicals and powdered firethorn and goblin fruits of other produce of the hedge, which is a changeling thing, to try and make humans or anyone awaken. Instead, he just made an interesting drug that made changelings go completely ballistic and other creatures to maybe frenzy. And it was bad news. And it
What would
sounds
it do on a
scary.
human? Nothing? Or?
Humans were definitely getting high on it, but as far as anyone could tell, no one actually awakened into being a mage.
And it also wouldn't even give humans the ability to see to recognize supernatural or anything. It was just
You don't know. You didn't really test it on any humans.
fair. Yeah.
Because we have so many humans in our ranks.
Yeah. But
Human
also,
is still the closest thing you've got. Oh, God.
also, to be honest, a human has a bad trip. They can be destructive, they can be angry, they can be loud, but a werewolf or a vampire or a changeling has a bad trip. and shit gets ridiculous.
I
Goes
mean,
sideways.
It's very
is
real.
the
Very
human
quickly.
carrying around as many guns as Dune?
Trench coat space is a thing.
Why do I have a feeling the drug will involve something from a giant worm?
Dune.
I know.
Wrong Dune. Wrong Dune, Voodoo. I mean, no, Arcane. Sorry, that was Arcane, not Voodoo.
Significantly superior technology is indistinguishable from magic. The reverse is also true, because we got mages and old school Doctor Who fans.
Magic is indistinguishable from technology.
Woohoo! But yeah, so yeah, Granny found a way to get this information past Task Force Valkyrie, at least.
Pretty sure, anyway.
By throwing it into a code that only I'm going to know. How Granny knows that code is another question.
And also into a piece of paper, because heck this bitch.
Yep.
Yup.
Oh, yes.
So yeah.
No.
Sure.
So, what are y'all up to now?
Well, we don't have a direct line on that, although I am keeping an eye out for more people with monkeys. Because I've met one.
Mm-hmm. And you got their number.
Yep. I do want to see if we can locate my cookies.
Yeah.
Didn't you tell me you put a
Hashtag priorities. Task
I'm
Force
very
Valkyrie
concerned about these cookies. We worked hard on those cookies.
We did.
We made a mess in our office kitchen.
Dune's just back here like, I learned to cook on the farm, and they're just like, no, we got this.
We totally know it. I have a crafts of 3.
Well,
I can
I
make
suppose
drugs. How hard can
if
cookies
you
be?
want to ruin the kitchen, I can't stop you. You are the head of this particular agency, but I'm not going to be the one cleaning it up afterwards. Spoiler, Dune was the one cleaning it up afterwards.
Oh, please. I can build a robot to clean it up afterwards. It'll be fine.
Bunch of fucking toddlers.
The jelly cat had fun, though. The jelly cat that decided it lives in your office now, so now you have an office cat.
Okay.
Which no one has actually named yet.
Does our office cat have bones?
It is very Choo Choo Bear-esque, but like like he's a greenish teal color. Or they. It's very difficult to tell the gender of these creatures, which makes TNR extraordinarily difficult because they seem to swarm here.
Remind me where we got the jelly thing?
It just showed up one day. Also, GM Fiat, now you have an office cat. That is also...
Okay. I
Just
just remember where
uses
we
a
got
different
it.
name and pronouns for the office cat every day.
No one's actually named the office cat, so...
Yeah, I just
just
call it something
the
different
cat.
every day. Often, though, it is probably boy or bastard.
They are amphibious, I believe is the term, species, so they seem able to live both on land and in water. You're not really sure how. No one's like, people have studied them, but you're a cat lives here now. Okay, fine.
I mean, isn't that the way with most cats?
Yeah.
A cat lives here now. Okay.
Deal with it.
Yeah.
My grandparents just got a cat that just, was a stray and claimed them.
Hello, I live here now.
Uh-huh.
Woohoo.
Yep.
I think last I heard the stat was 30% of cat owners become thus by accident.
But yes, if we made the cookies in the office, then I probably ended up adapting the office printer to add appropriate shells and make it a temporary oven.
Wait, you turned the office printer into an oven?
Sure, why not?
said you
Why
just have
would
an
we
office
already
kitchenette.
have
You
Yeah.
had
Oh,
an
okay.
office kitchen.
Yeah.
Oh, yes, but does the office kitchen have an oven in it?
Yeah, it's not that you don't use it that much, but it's there.
Oh, okay.
Probably doesn't have like a dishwasher, but
Yeah. The coffee machine gets used a lot more than the oven usually.
Oh,
Or
yeah.
sometimes a stovetop.
Meanwhile, the fridge is full of glass bottles.
And I'm sort of assuming that that most printers these days are in fact 3D printers, because why wouldn't they be?
Yeah, it can print 2D or 3D, whatever you're into.
Sure. Why not?
3D printers are not difficult to come by. Okay, so how are you going to track down your bag of oatmeal crack cookies? These are the I believe I said they were oatmeal cookies, but laced with espresso powder.
Yep.
that's it.
I mean, if you made them in the office kitchen, Dune probably knows what they smell like.
Oh, probably.
I believe we in fact established last episode, via a couple of quick rolls, that there was a passive tracker in the embedded in the bag in their container, and that I had handed out a couple of directional trackers that should be able to locate it. Admittedly, with some interference from the fact that they seem to be possible, at least at the time, they seem to be on the expo floor itself, and therefore there's a lot of stuff to pick up.
Yeah.
Plus, it's a passive tracker, and you don't really want to broadcast too loud.
Cardamom as a tracker.
Eh,
Is that something they do? I don't know.
I mean,
I do not believe I put microchip RFID in the cookies themselves. That might be a little much.
This is a little extra crunch. What is this stuck in my teeth?
oh, I love them that way.
Yummy, yummy technology. 4D printers
No,
would
I'll
likely
think
use
that
some
would.
kinds of goblin fruit. No, actually, a mage with the time sphere can definitely do hack a 4D printer.
Print's what you need before you need it.
Yeah.
But
Well,
you have
and
to
I'm
put the
pretty-
order in or everything gets fucked up.
And they're
And I'm pretty sure
starseed.
I'm aged with the right sphere. I don't know Chronicles well. Can probably also hack paper, but never mind that. That's why the paper was also encrypted.
Fate and time are the acanthus good
Bullshit.
bullshit. And they're really good at it in the city, and no one's sure why. And it's like, why? Anyway, so okay.
Dune
So,
is still downstairs shopping while you two are upstairs dealing with
Okay.
monkey people.
so what?
I probably texted Dune when the panel ended, like just saying, "Hey, panel's about done."
Okay, so yeah. Do you want to try your tracker again?
Sure. Now we actually have a little bit more time.
Yeah.
I'll text back to Klaus. What do you want me to do?
I don't
But,
know.
like,
I just wanted to let you
um,
know what was up.
Mm.
Petruchio's gonna look for the cookies again.
I suppose I can look down here as well as
I will also text out. I have a briefing to give on the drugs, but we'll have to wait on that.
text. Very well. I will look down here for
In-
the cookies
In
and
the group chat.
in the group chat. Yeah. I will look down here for the cookies, and you two can check up there. We'll see if it ended up be the place.
Okay. First, Dune. Give me your role because you haven't done anything in a while.
Sure. I'm going to sniff it out because I don't quite trust the tracker that I've been given.
I'll
So
do this the old-fashioned way.
I know what the cookies smell like, and there's not too many other people who use espresso powder in their baking. It tends to lend a bit of flavor to the things you're made. So I'll be sniffing out for that, and I will be using, I guess, wits investigation.
Sure, that works.
Because I can't think of anything else. Yeah, that would really do that. Ooh, that blew up, so that's nice.
Hell yeah.
So
10 again to find those cookies.
21.
We stand a chance of finding the cookies.
21 to sniff for Professor Potter cookies.
So bad news, you don't find Petruchio's cookies. However, you find, since you rolled five successes on this, I'll just
Cthulhu
give
has betrayed me.
you definitely smell several very similar bags of cookies being passed around and people with, boxes and tins and things. And you do notice that they all seem to have that same monkey pin or necklace or earrings. So yeah, and a lot of them offer you, you're sniffing around and they're like, oh, do you want a cookie? So you have now, if you accept, you have now tasted several more versions of oatmeal crack that are all amazing. And
yes.
being a wolf blood, you can taste a lot of the subtle differences of different origins of espresso powder.
Yeah. I can, I know when it's off-world.
Different species of oatmeal. Other additives and spices they use for enhancement: cardamom, cinnamon, pumpkin in the actual pumpkin spice. Because this is the future, so there's actual pumpkin in the pumpkin spice now, because I said so.
And, when they didn't use chicken eggs, I can tell that's pretty easy. Yeah.
The duck ones were very interesting. The duck oatmeal crack is ooh, that's got a very rich kind of depth to it. I
compliment each one of them on what I taste.
Yeah, and they're like, you find like
you're gonna become like legend in these circles as they're telling these stories about this one guy who came up and could taste exactly what I used.
It was so cool.
They're gonna find out that everyone met you.
Like when they all catch up on the dark web later, it's like, wow, there's this cool guy. Yeah.
I have found 10 variations on your recipe for cookies, but I have not found yours. Additionally, it seems rather odd, but every single person who had made the cookies was wearing the same sort of emblem.
Well, you didn't actually see that emblem. You started noticing it with the people with the cookies.
Yeah.
And they will happily all take selfies with you. Yeah. But Dune, you saw Petruchio, and maybe Klaus saw the monkey pendant at the panel. Dune was not at the panel.
Right. Yep. That's why I said some sort of sigil. I don't know.
I found this weird thing, and of course, all of these cookie distributors, cookie dealers, will happily take selfies with you and talk to you. No, and some of them are flirty. Selfies. Some of them are a bit flirty. Of varying genders.
Dune will flirt back, but Dune's not fond of selfies.
Okay.
Not since his sister got hold of him.
I really need to read your fanfics. Or your character fics. I'm sorry I haven't yet.
It's fine. None of them have been that one.
I read the last one, you did. Give me a little, what the fuck? Because I completely forgot what Dune's first name was.
Okay.
Thanks. I will send back. Thanks. Told the monkey people are helpful. Details later.
How did you know it was a monkey?
Cookies.
I suppose you will explain this later.
+1.
Very helpful he is. Put it away. Turn to weapon seller. Do you have any sonic shotguns? And it'll cut to Klaus and Petruchio.
He doesn't not have them. Okay, so Petruchio, so what, I guess, rolling, to use the thingy you've already installed, would be another wits investigation.
Sure.
With a +1 for technology. Oh, that's right. I realized I should bribe my players, so, who all, reposted our stuff on social media?
I did it once. Or I did it on Discord.
So you each get a +1 on any roll for each of those. But please keep track of tell me when you're using them,
and use it before the die roll, I take it?
I'll let it be flexible this time. because we are
Okay.
trying a new thing.
So wits plus investigation is 4. You said +1 because of technology.
Yeah, because you made a thing.
Okay. Do I also get a hacking bonus on this, or this isn't really hacking? I've already made the thing.
This isn't really hacking. This is tracking.
Yeah, that works. So 5 plus a D10 that's hidden itself under the table. 11.
Okay, so that is. I moved my successes sheet. Okay, so that's 2 successes. You get a much better bleep 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 on this floor, because it in fact, not only are you not in the dealer's room or the expo hall where there's just stuff everywhere, it seems like it's on this floor.
All right. Do I
I'm
have a
prepared
direction?
to pickpocket cookies back off this pickpocket.
Yes, it looks like, comparing what you've got to the map of the floor, it looks like, what did I write down? Oh, here we go. It looks like they're either in the argument room or the video game designer think tank room. Because it looks like it's kind of like on an edge of a wall, and it's like, okay, so is it on one side or the other? It's what?
So does that assume, is that handling both my tracking stuff and Klaus probably using a tracker from a different angle to get a triangulation?
Klaus, are you helping?
Are you helping, Klaus? I
Sure.
thought you were.
Of course. I'm standing around. I'm invested in trying to get these cookies found. I will do whatever Petruchio tells me needs to be done in order to find these cookies.
It's fantastic how my players are each investigating all the different facets of con life I have come to understand over the years. Whereas like Petruchio is like, I'm going to be on a panel and be all learned and meet contemporaries and tell people they're wrong or not. And Dune is like, dealer's room, storing up for the winter months. And then Dracus is just like, I'm going to get high and buy a plastic lightsaber. And I really want cookies right now.
I'm along for the ride. I've got my fake weapon, and I want to find the cookies, damn it.
Like, I tried to introduce consex, but so far my players haven't missed that boat. It's just fine. And I know I'm on the ace spectrum, so I don't necessarily flirt well in character. Even though I somehow keep playing sex workers in game. I don't know.
Allow me to just point out the ace flag behind me.
Ace flag! Mine is... It can't...
I see enough. Hell yeah.
It's somewhere. Anyway,
well, I noticed Pet flirting with Petruchio, so...
Yeah, they're cute. They're so cute. Very young, though. Like, definitely college student age.
I mean, everyone's young, but still.
Yeah. Everyone's young when you're a kindred. And you can tell they're probably pro Supernats since, well, Granny sent them.
Yep.
And they totally don't know anything about your company being a front of anything.
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely
no, they
not.
Don't.
Very ignorant. Totally. Completely. Yeah.
So innocent. Must protect. Or not. So yeah, Klaus, also roll me wits investigation.
World, too pure.
All right.
Too pure.
Okay, that is a 10, so only 1 success.
Okay. Oh, did you add +1 for technology?
Oh, I did not.
So that's 11. So that's 2 successes.
yeah.
Yeah. Between the
2
two of you,
successes.
you can work out that it is in the video game designer think tank room. Which is kind of crowded and there's people coming out, but it's not like a quiet room. It's a it's a rather loud room. But yeah, people are walking in and out. There's just like 2 banks of computers lined up and various wide screens around the walls of the room and tables. Like, do you go
There
in?
at least each of the 4 corners is taped off for VR, like people with headsets are dueling and stuff.
Oh yeah. Definitely for this challenge. And so as you see the door open and you look inside, what did I write down? There are actually some people in, some very megacorp-looking people walking in and out, and they're definitely suits with a capital S.
Okay.
So I'm taking pictures mostly for Granny, but I will make sure to also get some pictures of the suits as well in the background
Yeah,
shots.
everyone's got a camera. It's basically like at this con, people, it's like you put a sticker on your badge that says, please don't post this photo of me. But even then, it's like, people are going to post photos. But also, people are selling masks that jam up or allegedly jam up facial recognition software. So there are also a lot of people just wearing masks. It's awesome.
Are there filters that will that you can add to your camera that will voluntarily filter out people who have "Don't photo me" badges on?
There are, but you have to be able to see the badge in the shot.
Right.
So a lot of people that have that sticker are typically also wearing a mask. Because, I mean, they're cheap. They're like $5 5 credits in the dealer's room. Maybe they work. Who knows? Also, just lots of fun, fancy masks, because this is a con.
Yes. If you have to wear a mask, might as well go, full Venetian. Might as well.
Okay, so there's just like a paper actually no, it would be there's a digital display thing on the door of the room rather than a paper flyer. And it says today's ETC game building challenge, and it's just up the picture of a head of a goose.
Right.
What do you do?
Good thing Dune's not there. Because the goose inspired rage.
Yeah.
Like, the wrath kind of rage last time, so,
The abyss kind of honked back at them. Chat, in case you weren't here for that episode. Anywho, but yeah, there's people in and out. So yeah, there's a door with a goose on it, and inside are your cookies. What do you do? Take a gander. Indeed, Voodoo
Yes.
Lukerensky.
I will take a gander inside.
Hashtag love to space Russia. Space Russia. Oh, there will be space Russians. Just they haven't shown up yet. Anyway, sorry. What were you saying? I got lost in my own GM head.
I was heading inside. I don't know what Klaus is doing.
Okay.
I'm following.
All right. Yep. So, yeah, there are game devs. Just like everyone is working on, like there are data pads. There are things with more details on them that you can read. But it looks like everyone is building some sort of video game about a mean goose. Some kind of evil goose. One of them actually cites evil spirit goose. And the various parameters are like, who can build one the fastest, who can build the best one, who's, best graphics, most creative use of theme.
Walk up to someone who, like, seems to know what they're doing. So either someone who's running this event or, like...
Yeah, there's someone with a...
and be like, I have a question.
Yeah, sure. What's up?
What's with the goose? Is this a thing going around? Where'd this idea come from?
Well, I'm just running the room. I'm not sure. I think they got it from like a local person. Like something really weird happened in town. And they said, and it was kind of pre-con meeting and everything. And one of the local the local contacts like, oh my god, make it about an evil spirit goose. Don't ask me how this happened. I don't know what. And like, this is just how these things.
Doing it down in the dealer's room, currently cradling a sonic shotgun, one of the nicer models. Gets a shiver down his spine.
I smell dinner.
I don't, nicely thank this person.
Over my grave.
Ask Petruchio if we're getting these cookies now or not.
Yeah, there's
sure,
someone.
let's see who can find these cookies.
Someone's building a VR simulator, someone's doing a side scroller, someone's doing a mansion game, someone's doing a farming game, all about a mean goose often a mean goose that steals shit. And is an
Space
evil
goose.
spirit and
There's
can
probably a
walk through
space
walls.
goose.
There is a space goose. There is like a one that's like a first person shooter and it's like lots of evil geese. And then there's like one where you are the goose and you are shooting other people.
Then there's one where it's like Silent Hill, but it's just the goose instead of Pyramid Head.
Yeah, undead geese. That person is actually like the person in charge is kind of like that's offensive to actual undead persons, and yeah, so they're getting shut. They're getting their station shut down. And it's like, I'm sorry, this is not appropriate. And then the person's like, but I am a vampire. And Petruchio, you can tell right away that that person is not a vampire.
Oof.
Oof.
I thought it said vampire.
Oh, that was our first mistake.
Well, we say vampire.
Yeah, generally, chat. One of the things in Requiem, typically is if a vampire runs into another vampire, they actually have to make a frenzy check because their beasts go. But I learned Requiem in a LARP setting where the GMs did not want to have to run both a feeding challenge and a frenzy challenge for every character before game started.
Oh god.
So I've kind of like, if you're going to a big public place with lots of people and you're kind of expecting there will be other vampires here, whether it's a rack or an Elysium or a nerd convention, you can sense the beast kind of leaps up, but you're kind of expecting it. So maybe that kills some of the drama. I'm sorry.
And you pre-gamed a bit with extra.
Yeah. But yeah, you see, so the reason it was confusing was there's just like a long, low table under a bunch of the screens where people are showcasing what they built, and other people are playing it with various tools of video game playing. And it's just like, so there's just a table with just lots of snacks and drinks and caffeinated beverages and things, and there is just your bag of cookies there.
Okay, so I'm going to examine the area where my cookies is, because it's really weird that someone just dropped my cookies, walked my cookies in here and then dropped them without a buyer leave.
Well, it's not the only bag of cookies or snacks on this table, and there's, home baked stuff. There's, bags of space Doritos.
Klaus can tell that there is some home baked stuff.
Oh,
too.
yeah. There are definitely
Right.
some magic brownies on offer, but that's not criminalized here, because why the hell would it be?
Nope, but they do have to be clearly labeled.
Yes, for allergy reasons, like it's kind of like a, give a cookie, take a cookie is the sign above it, and it's like, please, you can't leave anything here that isn't clearly labeled. But of course, your bag of cookies is not clearly labeled, so people are still just dropping stuff, but, like, some people seem to still be eating them, because they either don't care or are very adventurous and want to see what the espresso oatmeal cookies will do to them.
Which is nothing but a little caffeine kick,
Yes. Fortunately, we are in Chronicles of Darkness, which is one, not World of Darkness, but also not Nightlife, which was everyone's supernatural game that came out like a year or two before Vampire.
Huh.
And where one of the weird things in this game was the idea that if as a supernat you fed on somebody, you would end up with whatever drugs were in their system.
Oh, well,
which I believe is also
in most of the versions of Vampire I have seen.
I agree. However, they had according to Idun Studio, was it Idun? I think so. The drugs would affect supernats very strangely and might cause them to explode. They never really explained.
Well, one of the most annoying passages in NWAD that I read was where Forsaken Werewolves on drugs. It's like, yeah, cocaine doesn't really do anything to them, but never give them chocolate. They take lethal damage from chocolate. And I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Great.
And I'm like, GM, what is this bullshit? And he's like, yes. That is
here
stupid.
they didn't explain what was the difference between what's to make something a drug. You know, if you're Muslim, is coffee a drug? I don't know. You know,
If you're vegan, is meat a drug? No, it's not.
right.
That was me. I don't like making fun of vegans in general.
Apparently, in saying this, just talking out of some silliness that occurred on the Discord a while back. Apparently, for farther all elves, mint.
Oh yeah,
Mint?
mint.
You know, for what's his name, raging out to the peppermint candies.
That. Oh!
Mint is a drug.
New moon. That's
New
his name.
moon. That's right. I'll link you to that later, Josh.
Ewok raging out to
Efficient peppermint, Pfizer peppermint. Yeah. But yeah. So well,
So and meanwhile, is anyone keeping an eye on?
Sorry. Who's saying this?
Is anyone keeping an eye on the snack table?
Not really. Like, and there is orange soda on the snack table. Several different brands from several different systems. And an orange soda liqueur, which someone is drinking. And there's
Want to just if we're pretty sure no
Close.
one's watching the table, I want to go up and get some interesting snack and also, you know, just kind of slide that whole bag of cookies away. I still don't want to, like, you know,
these are ours.
yoink the entire bag in front of, like, just like,
Well,
go for it.
They're about half gone.
Okay.
No one's stopping you.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna walk up, I'm gonna get some snacks, and among the snacks I'm going to grab the entire bag of cookies, and I will grab another entire bag of something else so no one thinks this is weird.
So that if they see you, they just think you're larcenous.
Roast chicken Doritos. They must be from planet England. Yeah, no one turns a hair.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, yeah, whatever, we're coding. And you do see Pod. They are they're not coding something of their own. They're looking at someone's classic 8-bit side scroller.
I'll wave to them if I see them, if I catch their eye.
Yeah, they're like, oh.
They probably have no idea who I
hey,
am,
Pod.
but I'll just like walk back up to Petruchio, drop the cookies in his hand, and like just pat it. Here you go. I'm gonna walk away munching on things and just like go look for see what's going on in this room, because I'm offended but very curious about this like goose theme.
There is one video game where if you don't kill the goose right, it turns into more geese.
Have you?
Can't believe I did that.
Goosen.
Goosen.
Did you text Dune what you were doing and what was going on in the room?
Yeah, I probably let you know that we like found the cookies and we're getting them.
In the future, there are 800 variants on Untitled Goose Game, and they were all inspired by an abyssal goo moth that looked like a goose. Because this is my world.
Uh-huh.
And I need this, chat. I need it. And
do either of you tell Dune about the Goose Games?
Oh no. I'll never hear the end of it if I tell you.
There's a Chudy jumper inspired by Mario, where you're playing a goose. And all of the jumping puzzles involve messing with things.
Nice.
Please tell me there's a Flappy Bird.
Honk! Honk! Honk!
It's Flappy Bird, but annoying.
Get honked.
Honk! 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 Indeed. All right. Well, it's 10 p.m. now, team. I know we had some silliness. But yeah, if you want to say that day one of the con kind of concludes pretty uneventfully, and it's just, y'all can regroup if you're coming back for day 2.
I
Sure.
mean, if it's
Actually,
day one-
slightly before, I am going to ask. Wait, what is the name of my flirt partner, / moderator?
Pod.
Pod. Thank you. I am going to ask Pod whether if they know about anything about the contents of that envelope.
I mean, okay. I maybe tried a few things, but it's I mean, when you're not, like Granny, you can't necessarily see inside a sealed envelope. And envelope glue is still really tricky to open and then reseal with, like, she's, Granny knows all the low tech. I assume it's something sensitive. Like, she doesn't usually resort to hard copy unless something really serious is going on.
Yep.
So
yeah, she was worried about third parties.
Megacorp.
yeah, and I'm not saying I'm not curious, but
Well, she did
It's-
say people with the monkey could be trusted on this. So
Oh. So are you a code monkey?
not yet.
Huh. Hold on while the person playing me looks up their notes and how this was supposed to work.
While you're looking that up, you get in the room distracted by a bunch of people having gathered around Klaus, who is absolutely killing it at one of these games, but also critiquing the accuracy of the spirit goose.
And they're like, wait, it's real? Cool! They are all eating it up, like, tell us more!
I'm spinning tall tales and making it way worse and, like, ridiculous than it was, and it was already ridiculous.
If they're taking too much time, Dune's gonna finish shopping and head to a bar. Probably the one where his cousins are.
Oh yeah, they're all hanging out. Okay, I didn't have to. So Pod, kind of looks at you and they're like, "Do you want to be a code monkey?"
More about it.
Well, we're we work to we're generally white hat.
I like generally white hat.
And I mean, we all help each other out, but generally I get the feeling that all of us know Granny before we become code monkeys. So she's not big on private armies though. So there's only a couple times where she's really called us in on stuff. But yeah, we all help each other out. White hat hacking, help out other people, fight the megacorps.
Sounds good to me.
Awesome. Yeah, I get the feeling you might be into that. I don't know why. But and they, again reach into their lapel pocket and pull out a smaller, like an earring size, but still on a safety pin. So, I mean, do you want in?
Sure. I will take it.
Yeah, they hand it to you like, cool. You've got my number, and you'll figure out what that does.
I look forward to it.
Okay. No, I really want to do the VR goose hunt. So yeah, call me. Like, I'll be here for the whole con.
I'll be in and out, but I'll be around.
Great. Yeah, so I'll see ya. And then they someone's like, bing, next, and they're like, ooh, and they put on the visor, and they have basically like a handheld thing and then their hand is sort of guiding it like via some kind of infrared that says, okay, that means this is where the other end of the shotgun is. And it's basically VR Duck Hunt.
Nice.
But from the way they're moving, it looks like the goose is doing something to them. But this does not have a display screen at the moment, because there are so many games being played right now. So it's like no one can see what the goose is doing. If they know
Goose
Granny, I'm inclined to trust them. Yep.
You seem like a trustworthy fellow.
You seem trustworthy. Would you like to join our noble hacktivist quest? So yeah, it is all right. I think we got so Dune retreats to the bar with all of their new guns. There's some nice stuff, some nice and new top of the line stuff, and reasonably priced.
Yep, it's not. There's some knives too, but yeah.
Did you get any new grenades for the grenade drawer?
That's also what the dealer said.
Those don't go on the company budget or on any of the company manifests. You just find.
Sorry, I just keep thinking about it. I forgot that was a thing, but I wrote down.
So truth be told,
existed.
there are firearms being sold, or the equivalent of firearms. No one is selling grenades, but they are selling grenade sleeves. Or skins, so to speak. So, things that look like Pez dispensers, things that look like pencils, and, complete instructions on if you were to maybe find an incendiary device small enough to fit in here is how you would load it. And that was a very interesting booth. Kind of like a booth that sells, like cell phone covers, but they're selling grenade skins. And all the different types, like, well, this is, flash grenades, smoke bombs, incendiary,
Yeah. And if some of them happen to come with some explosive ingredients, well, they don't tell nobody tells. Nobody tells.
Yeah, I mean, there are booths that are just selling, like chemical components for, people's home kits. Because, chemistry sets are still a thing, right?
Totally.
Everyone likes to science in the future, where we believe it is real.
That there are also sort of light and sound grenades, and those they might actually sell bits of because they're not explosive.
Yeah, they're
or bits for.
Well, it's also Well, it's yeah. Sound. There are some sound and light grenades, but they're also it's fine. There are weapons here. There are people with weapons. They have special stickers on their badges that say, I have weapons, and I'm in the Mercenaries Guild. Yay. Or the Merchant Marine. Or both. So, yeah. Eden's... I really need to finish watching Black Sails, because the more and more I realize Eden is very much like Nassau. Only with an actual government in it. But, ask us about our Merchant Marine, where we are all upstanding citizens who never do anything wrong.
I have some cousins in the Merchant Marine. They do a good job and very good business.
The current administrator of the Merchant Marine is a hashtag Space Russian. Because I love doing that. But as we were concluding game, I would like to remind chat, I have been less vocal about that this week, because this week, what the F? Whew. But we are still looking to expand our cast so that, if we have 6 regular players and 2 suddenly can't make it, we still have 4 players. And 6 is my dream number, but we are having a terrible time finding people that actually want to stream a game and can do it on Saturday nights. So yeah, one of our new... so this game started as a module, so everyone's character sheets were written by me, and no one's complained yet. Well, no one who's still here. It's not for everybody. But I will be drafting or updating a few more character sheets. So as you can see, Pricely is not with us right now. They're still around. They're just at the office until we can find someone to play them. And I basically write all of these characters non-gendered, because this is a post-gender society, so, play however you want them. Yeah. Year was 1778. Privateers. Ha! Yeah, sure.
Took off
DM.
my glasses because they were driving me crazy with the headphones, and now I can't read chat.
Oh,
Fair.
that's fine. Yeah, I mean, if you know of anyone who wants to try, an amateur stream with us, or if they're more experienced and just want to see if World of Darkness can be less grimdark and more on the fun side. I mean, half of us met, or 3 of us met playing Demon Hunters: A Comedy of Terrors, so I kind of can't not be funny in my games, and my natural habitat is changing the dreaming. Draw your own conclusions. But yeah, we are looking for more players. I mean, for example, Josh can't make it for 1 game a month, but, that works. If we have 6 players, that's fine. Or even 5 players. 4 would also be nice, but I'm not saying I'm not happy with these players, but, sometimes life stuff happens, and I don't want to put it on 3 players that, no, if you're not here, we have to cancel a game, and that sucks, and I don't want to make someone having life problems have more problems. So, and I'm pretty good at writing a drop-in, drop-out game. Yes?
As much as 3 is the perfect number for a game, which it sort of is.
I dare say for streaming games, in a lot of cases, less is more. But we are in the middle of an actual real-world apocalypse, although as of today, maybe that apocalypse, we're going from DEFCON 1 to DEFCON 2 or 3? Maybe?
Still got to work on the Still got work to do.
Still got work to do.
Now we actually start that work, you know?
Now there is one less stone wall between us and the work.
Yeah.
Also, if I can get on a soapbox for a little while, local, the presidential election is important, but so are all of the other elections. If you want this to be less stressful next 4 years from now, find out about your local elections. You don't have to run, but vote, read up on them.
Or possibly help out and canvass a little for Georgia's runoffs.
Yeah, if you're there or not. Yeah.
Because that's going to be really important.
I mean, part of why Arizona had their blue landslide was because people at the ground level were like, oh, so this position in our county government is the person that controls all the voting sites. And they've been a Republican for 30 years. No wonder we don't have more voting sites. And yeah. So I'm not saying that it means the presidential election isn't important, but it's like, if you clean for your house for an hour every day, you do not a year later have 18 hours, of straight cleaning to do for 4 days in a row. So yeah. It starts from ground level and goes up. I'm also not the best at following local politics, but it is important and it is helpful. And it can be, so vote more than once every 4 years, at the very least. Vote informed. Yes, thank you, verbing nouns. Oh, you're back. Hello. They are great players. Yes, mine are great, wonderful players. I love them all. And I was checked in with them many times in the last week. It's like, okay, are we sure we can still game? Because I already wrote the plot, and I can be there, but is everyone okay? But yeah, so...
I just kept nervously checking our chat today of someone's gonna cancel. And I know no one's gonna cancel, because I know this group of people is pretty good about not canceling last minute. But
But even then, sometimes shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you know of anyone who would like to try streaming and likes World of Darkness, or sci-fi mashups, or a slightly less paranoid version of Shadowrun,
or would like World of Darkness if it didn't involve quite as much grimdark and quite as much bookkeeping.
Yeah. I'm not saying there isn't darkness in the World of Darkness. I'm just saying that this group tends to lower decks their way out of a lot of things, which is fine. Is that the Star Trek cartoon? Below Decks?
Oh, okay. That's... For some reason, I thought you were saying lower decks, as in we lowered our deck stat. And I'm like, when did we do that?
Slightly less paranoid Shadowrun, yes. Oh yeah, there are things in the dark waiting for them. It's just they haven't quite. Basically, this is based on a LARP I ran a few years ago, where it was basically you have 4 hours and then plot anvil. But now I spent a year compulsively building that space system, and like I want to explore it before I drop the plot anvil. And maybe the plot anvil will not go the same way it did in the LARP. Because y'all are making friends and learning things and exploring the environment. And you're an Underground Railroad, so you have, you know, other connections.
Some of them are better friends than others.
Like, Jasper's awesome. Marguerite, you're not so sure. Cyberpunk Comic-Con. Yes, I hope this is...
We're all enjoying that.
Yes.
I had to feel like, is this too much me wanking off? And like, no, everyone misses con season. Anyone who doesn't wouldn't be going to cons anyway.
I mean, what would cons be like 2,000 years in the future is a pretty great con topic to begin with.
With outed supernaturals.
Mm-hmm.
Well, for one thing, the roach coaches would look a lot different.
As we said earlier, well, you know, there's more media representation of supernaturals in Eden system. So, you know, more vampires can actually cosplay as vampire characters. And it's all very nice.
Representation is important.
Like, goodness, what does fantasy fiction look like in a world where magic is real?
Damn.
Humans and households.
So
Human
are vampires
household.
the closest thing to zombies in this? I mean, I assume ghouls are closer. I'm not sure if mummies exist in Chronicles.
There's... from what I remember, when it comes to undead, you've got vampires, sort of Geist, which are the... Not Geist. Is it Geist now? No, it's Sin Eaters. Geist. God damn it, I can't keep all my Worlds of Darkness straight. That's right, it was Wraith in OWAD, and it's so it's vampires, Geists, which are normal humans, but they came back to life because a death god said, can you give me a ride, and I'll take you back to Earth, and then shit happens. Promethean, which it depends on the Promethean, because they're a person made of stuff. Sometimes that stuff is a dead body, and Promethean was the first real, like, we're doing something different that I really saw in NWAD that wasn't just recycling OWAD, because, you know, it was World of Darkness 2, the quest for more money. I do like NWAD, but it was like, it's a long story. But I liked NWAD once all of the books were out, and I could see the whole picture of what this is supposed to look like, as opposed to recycled OWAD. Vegan vampires. Just the opposite. Now vampires, there's a point where your blood potency gets so high you can only feed off other vampires. And that gets weird. And then it's time for your enforced dirt nap. Anyway.
Oh, trust me, Arcane, I got it.
Zombie Children is an old Unix joke. Okay, I didn't get it because I don't actually study computers the way half of our game does.
Yeah.
So I'm like, have I made a terrible error? I'm like, no, we'll just improv the shit out of
Forcing
it.
a parent thread.
If anyone's wondering, how can you keep your face so straight? It's because Chris didn't get half the jokes. So yeah, I am gonna straight person the fuck out, or straight man the fuck out of this. Okay, that's fine. But yeah, so thank y'all for watching. Oh my god, I just keep rambling. But yes, send us more followers. Send us people interested in gaming with us. We also play occasionally Demon Hunters, which is a Fate game, which we might play whenever Josh is away or not. Like, depends on scheduling and the apocalypse in real life. But yes, thank you for hanging out with us tonight, chat, because this is always fun, and I'm an extrovert, so I need to talk at people, or I have no energy. It's weird. We're not a lot of nerds are extroverts. I am learning the painful truth. But yeah, so I'm Ms. Chrysala, and that is my handle on all of the social medias. And I have been playing everyone else tonight. And the environment. So Klaus, who was you tonight?
I'm Dracus, been playing Klaus. there isn't much to say. You can find me on various social medias as actual Dracus, like I am in the chat here. And that's about that.
Okay. Dune, who are you today?
I'm Merc. I played Dune, and I played Archeohacktivism on the kind of ways it were.
Was that a Discworld reference?
Yes, it was.
Okay, because it's like
Oh.
Festival is one of the characters from I think it's Guards.
I still need to read more
I
of his
keep
books.
meaning to read those.
'Cause I
I
started-
should
got
probably reread some stuff.
Ankh
I don't know. It's
Morpork,
been a long
but
time.
Honestly,
Yeah.
honestly, you'll
Found
hear
that.
it'll make more sense if you actually listen to the audiobook version of the one I'm thinking of, although I'd have to look up exactly what it is, because that's the voice that the reader uses to make to do A.E. Pessimal's lines, which is why it's like, yes, A.E. Pessimal. But yeah, I'm on Discord. You can find me in the Zombie Orpheus the Fantasy Network combo Discord place, and I'm also on the Calocadium. I don't really do the social medias. I mean, I've been sitting back and watching Tumblr explode for the last 12 hours, which has been really hilarious. And I like watching Masters of the Metaverse. There it is. Masters of the Metaverse every Monday night on the Zombie Orpheus Twitch channel. It's pretty great. It's only got 4 more episodes to go, and then it'll be done. It'll be ended.
Well,
I'm so sad.
It has not yet achieved its final form.
Yeah.
This regeneration will be over. Then there will be this version will be over, and then it will regenerate, and then it will be a new show.
Yeah,
as
it'll
far
be
as
the Reliables, a Metaverse show. But yeah, it's you can watch the entirety of Master Metaverse for free on the Fantasy Network with no ads, because fuck YouTube and its fucking ad stupid shit.
Oh wait, I should look for someone to raid. Josh, who are you? Or Petruchio, Josh, who
sure.
are you? What's going on? Where
I'm
am I, and
Josh.
why am I in this handbasket?
I am Neme or Nemex. You may have seen that I'm Nemex on Twitch because Neme is taken at various places across the internet. I'm not associated with it at all, but the con that I am attending this weekend virtually, because it's a virtual con this year, is Metatopia, which, if you're interested in games and game design, is a game design and playtesting convention. If you Google for Metatopia, you should be able to find it. I can paste it into the chat. And it's a pretty neat con, and it's also free this year because this is the year of free cons that were normally in person, but this year are online. And it's pretty fun.
Hey. Okay. Let's see. There's DJ Dirge, who is someone I believe I know tangentially through LARPing. Ironically, maybe he's played Space before. I don't know. And the Dice Cult is doing Vampire the Masquerade. And if anyone in chat has any suggestions for people we could raid, but I think I am leaning towards Dice Cult.
Sounds good to me.
So, all right, yeah, stick around for the raid because that's nice. Thank you for listening to me ramble for 10 minutes. Hashtag extrovert problems. Like, it's, I don't know if this will even come up on screen, but my friend made me an extrovert button because I have a condition, and this is to warn people. So, what is the raid command again? It's /raid.
/raid, and then the proper name of the channel that you're trying to raid.
Okay, so the Dice Cult. So, yeah, so thank you all for watching. If you're watching us in the future, thank you for watching the VOD. Yay! And my computer didn't crash this time, so it's all one VOD.
Sure.
Yay!
We're so proud of your new computer.
Yes.
Yay! Thank God for Newegg and having sales. So, alright, so, raid. 2 viewers are ready to raid the Dice Cult. Okay. I'll take it. Oh, 9 viewers. Okay. OBS is still weird. Alright, so we're going raid. So, bye!